God King of all realms, starting by summoning an angel. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction. So please don't attempt real magic, the results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 101. Soon, Lin Yu received a response from Wanji Floating Island. The floating island gave Lin Yu a lot of top-level soldiers related to Phoenix, such as Phoenix Feather, Phoenix Guard, Dark Fire Phoenix, etc. Then, Wanji Floating Island gave a detailed description of these top-level soldiers. Phoenix Feather is a human swordsman with a natural affinity for fire elements. Every attack will be accompanied by powerful fire attribute damage, and the combat power is very strong. Phoenix Guard is an intelligent race belonging to the natural camp. The combat power can be compared with a general pure-blooded dragon race, and it has a powerful fire element power. Dark Fire Phoenix is a soldier of the evil and dark camp. It contains the blood of the Hell Phoenix and is also very powerful among the top soldiers. In addition, there are various other top soldiers. Lin Yu was dazzled. In the end, he was confused. He couldn't guess what Sikun Jun's soldiers were. He simply didn't guess. No matter what kind of soldiers he was, he just needed to develop his own. When the day of taking the island comes, he will fight as he should. Now I just wait for Angelica and the others to bring back the spoils and form my second angel army, or even the third one. Lin Yu turned off the glory contribution list and continued to lie down and bask in the sun. The underground world. After giving the Dark Elves enough time to escape back to the tribe, the angel army led by the six-winged angel Rene finally set off and headed straight for the Dark Elf tribe dozens of kilometers away. After the war against Boneyard, the angels in the Legion have all soared in level and strength. There are more than 10 angels who have reached level 9, such as the two-winged angels Kiaozai, Vina, Helen, Ada and others. In addition, the four-winged angels Maureen and Murida have also reached level 9. There are even more angels who have reached level 8, nearly 100. And the remaining angels have basically reached level 7, with only a few still hovering at level 6. It can be said that this battle has increased the overall strength of the Angel Legion. If we attack Boneyard again, it will be absolutely easy. There is no need to kill Skeleton King Ryan first and hit the morale of the Undead Elite Legion, just push it over. 100 meters high, the holy light is brilliant. Under the light, there are densely packed holy angels, heroic and valiant. A few kilometers ahead, there was a team of nearly 1,000 dark elves. They believed in the holy light and were followers of Lin Yu. Now that they had received the mission, they had to enter the dark elf tribe first and take the opportunity to rebel. The six-winged angel Rene flew at the forefront of the angel army and said to Angelica beside her, "The dark elf tribe has an elf mother tree, whose combat power is probably comparable to that of a professional in the extraordinary realm. The elf mother tree is an extremely powerful war weapon of the elves. Under normal circumstances, the task of the elf mother tree is to cultivate elves. If a crisis occurs, the elf mother tree can uproot and turn into an ancient tree man, launching a violent attack on the enemy. However, this transformation has a very fatal flaw. It is irreversible. The elf mother tree transformed into an ancient tree man will permanently lose the ability to cultivate elves and will always exist in the form of an ancient tree man. This is also why the elf elder Carol said that mother should not take action unless it is absolutely necessary. After all, the elves rely on the elf mother tree to inherit and reproduce. If the elf mother tree loses its ability to reproduce, then the elf tribe will be extinct. Unless a new elf mother tree is planted, but this is not an easy task. First of all, it is difficult to get the seeds of the elf mother tree. Secondly, it takes about 300 to 500 years for the elf mother tree to grow to the stage where it can cultivate elves. During such a long time, no more elves will be born in the dark elf tribe. Therefore, the elf mother tree is also known as the last line of defense for the elf tribe. "Don't worry, I will have a good talk with it," Angelica said indifferently. "If it refuses to obey, I will directly cut off its intelligence and turn it into a dead tree. This time to attack the dark elf tribe, you go to deal with the chief of the tribe. Another king-level elf elder, leave it to Elena. Yuta and others, it is the best result to be able to surrender. If not, then purify their souls. The heretics who refuse to bow their heads to the Lord of Holy Light have no meaning and value in existence. Okay, the six-winged angel Renee nodded. In fact, she wanted to kill Doris, the leader of the Dark Elf tribe, with the angel sword in her hand. In that way, as a late 9th level, she can directly enter the king level. But, she has to listen to Angelica's words. Time passed quickly. With the angel army deliberately slowing down, the team composed of nearly 1,000 Dark Elf believers finally entered the territory of the Dark Elf tribe. The Dark Elf scouts hiding nearby discovered them at the first time. However, the Elf scouts did not no doubt. Instead, he looked at the Elf believers running towards the tribe with excitement. The guards at the entrance of the Dark Elf tribe also did not doubt why so many Dark Elves suddenly appeared. They had clearly returned in small groups before. The guards quickly opened the gate and led the Dark Elf believers into the tribe. Cheers rang out in the tribe. And Doris, the chief of the tribe, also received the news quickly. A smile finally appeared on her delicate face, which had always been uneasy and worried. Most of the tribe members have returned safely, only a small number of them encountered accidents. This is a blessing in disguise. Doris breathed a sigh of relief, and was happy that nearly 1,000 people had successfully escaped the siege of the enemy army. Although the Dark Elves are called fallen natural elves and are creatures of the evil and dark camp, in fact, the Dark Elves are very united. Otherwise, the Dark Elves would not have been able to quickly gain a foothold in the underground world full of crises as latecomers. The reason for this is that they all come from the Dark Elf mother tree. From another level, they are sisters connected by blood. Even the word fallen is a label that other races put on the Dark Elves. Because the orthodox natural elves are a race that advocates kindness and peace, and are protected by the goddess of nature and elves. Without comparison, there is no harm. Including angels, they also regard the Dark Elves as for the fallen. In fact, the Dark Elves are just a group of elves who master the power of dark elements. Except for the darker appearance, they are not much different from the natural elves. They also come from the mother tree of elves. They are also united and friendly with their tribesmen. The difference is that because of past experiences and historical lessons, the Dark Elves no longer trust foreign races, including their creators, nature and the goddess of elves. On the other side, inside the body of the mother tree of elves, Carol is talking to light and shadow. She has a delicate and beautiful face and white skin. She wears a black and gold magic dress. The belt tied around her waist outlines her figure into a very attractive curve. In appearance, she is comparable to the tribe leader Doris. It's just that her dress is not as sexy as Doris. Mother Tree, this war may bring a disaster to our tribe. Facing the light and shadow, Carol was respectful. The light and shadow was silent for a long time, and then said, "The enemy's power is indeed very terrible, and it has even affected my children." Carol looked up suddenly, with a puzzled look on her face. "Mother, you mean," the light and shadow said, "just now, nearly 1,000 elves returned to the tribe at the same time." Carol was surprised. "Isn't this a good thing?" But the mother continued, "But they have changed. They no longer belong to the evil and dark camps. They have become believers in the light camp, as the mother tree of the elves. Her consciousness is connected to all the dark elves in the tribe. Of course, she can feel the changes in the dark elf believers." Chapter 102. However, this connection is different from the thread of faith. Faith is the power of God. Under normal circumstances, space and distance can be ignored. Although Lin Yu is not a god, he can sense the existence of faith. With the help of the thread of faith, he can easily sense the gathering of angels in the underground world and the increase of new believers. But the connection between the mother tree of elves and the elves is very weak. It cannot be sensed beyond a certain distance. So after the dark elf believers returned to the tribe, it discovered the abnormality on them. Carol said immediately, "I will inform the chief immediately and order all the dark elves who have returned to the tribe to be controlled to prevent them from causing chaos." Carol unconditionally trusted the words of the elf mother tree. Although she was very surprised and unbelievable, she found it hard to believe what kind of power could make nearly 1,000 dark elves become believers of the light camp in a short period of time. Is there a light god standing behind the enemy? This is impossible. Because there are no gods in this world anymore. The road to becoming a god is cut off. The most powerful creature is only at the peak of demigod. What's more, the enemy army is obviously backed by a lord from another world. He came to this world as a mortal and only had a few days. How could he become a god in one fell swoop? She couldn't figure it out. However, she did not question the words of the elf mother tree. She believed in the mother of elves. However, at this moment, the spiritual light and shadow of the elf mother tree said, "It's too late. The enemy army is approaching the tribe." Carol was shocked. "I didn't expect the enemy to come so quickly. They sent the traitor into the tribe first, and then they came to kill them. They didn't give them a chance to react." "Mother, I will protect the tribe." Carol turned and left without hesitation. But after walking a few steps, she turned around and saluted respectfully to the light and shadow and said, "Mother, please protect the tribe members. If possible, Mother, take Doris and the elves away." The relationship between Carol and Doris is better than that between sisters. They all hope that the other can survive. The light and shadow was silent for a moment, and nodded. "It is my responsibility to protect the tribe. Thank you, Mother." Carol breathed a sigh of relief. Then, she held the magic wand in her hand tightly and left the elf mother tree with a resolute expression. What Carol didn't know was that shortly after she left, an illusory figure seemed to have passed through the void and directly entered the body of the elf mother tree. This illusory figure has a pair of sacred wings. Time is distorted around the figure, like a dream. The moment it saw this figure, the spirit of the elf mother tree was shocked and shouted in horror, "This is impossible. The laws of the floating island cannot tolerate you at all. Indeed, that guy is very difficult to talk to." The illusory figure looked at the trembling spirit of the elf mother tree in front of him, and said indifferently, "I give you the right to choose your fate. Will you be wiped out by me or bow your head to the holy light?" "So it's you." The spirit of the elf mother tree was horrified. It was not until a long time later that it calmed down. He said, "Faith in the holy light is not allowed by the goddess of nature and elf." The illusory figure said, "She has abandoned you, including the natural elves of the floating island world. Her base camp is in the battlefield of all worlds, and the elves there can get her protection." The spirit of the mother elf tree said, "But even so, we are her children." The illusory figure said, "I will have a good talk with her after entering the battlefield of all worlds." The spirit of the mother elf tree fell silent again. At this time, the illusory figure seemed to be a little impatient and said, "It is an honor for you dark elves to believe in the holy light. Are you still hesitating?" "Yes, this world, including the battlefield of all worlds, has not had the holy light shining on the world for a long time. Humble creatures have long forgotten our existence." As the illusory figure spoke, the spirit of the mother elf tree felt more and more chilled. It didn't know what kind of terrifying and ancient mythological tribe it had encountered. Outside world, the horn of war has sounded. The enemy army is approaching near the tribe. War has come. Here, the great elder of the elves, Carol, had just left the elf mother tree, and immediately found the tribe leader, Doris, who was issuing various orders, and reported the matter of the traitor. But it was still a step late, because the dark elf believers had already appeared on the wall of the tribe one step earlier. With the force of thunder, the dark elf hunters on the wall were knocked out one after another. Then all the heavy crossbows were destroyed. After doing all this, nearly 1,000 dark elf believers quickly returned to the tribe and attacked the nearby tribal elves. Many dark elves were knocked out by sneak attacks before they could react. For a while, the dark elf tribe fell into chaos. As the tribe leader, Doris, and the tribe's senior officials had no way to control this sudden riot. It was not because of their inability, but because they had no idea which side to suppress. They could not tell which were the traitors and which were the elves of the tribe. After all, there were no words engraved on the faces of the betrayers. And they were all their tribesmen. "Chief, what should we do now? There are elves fighting everywhere. Who are the betrayers?" In the square outside the tribal meeting hall, stood Chief Doris, Elf Grand Elder Carol, and a group of tribal leaders. Everyone's face was very ugly. Because looking around, the whole elf tribe was in a bin melee. There were no enemies. Only their tribesmen were fighting each other. And there was no bloody killing. Whether it was the dark elf believers or the tribal elves, the goal was to defeat the other party and then knock them out. These high-level people could not intervene at all. Because no matter who they attacked, they felt that they would attack their own people. An elf leader quickly said, "The traitors are the legion elves who came back from outside. As long as they are suppressed, the traitors can be eliminated." Another leader shook his head and said, "There are more than 2,000 legion elves returning to the tribe. Can they all be suppressed? Not to mention whether it can be done. The enemy will not give us enough time. Then what do you say we should do? I will listen to the tribe leader. All of a sudden, all the elf leaders turned their eyes to the tribe leader Doris. However, Doris's face turned green at this time, and she felt her scalp was numb. She had never encountered such a bad thing. The enemy had not yet attacked the tribe, but the people of her own tribe had started fighting first. Even if she wanted to gather her living forces to fight the enemy legion, it might not work. Moreover, she felt that everyone she saw was a traitor. At this time, Doris seemed to remember something and cast her eyes on an elf leader standing not far away. This elf leader was the dark elf elder who returned to the tribe with the legion elves. Bev, have you betrayed the tribe too? After the words fell, other elf leaders also reacted. All of them moved away from the dark elf elder. The dark elf elder Bev was silent for a moment, and then said, Chief, surrender, now, the Lord of Holy Light has come to this world, we, the dark elves, can finally get shelter. Chapter 103. The old man was in trouble. Bev, are you crazy? To believe in the holy light and become a believer of the God of light is to blaspheme against the nature and the goddess of the elves. Don't forget, we are dark elves. Before Doris opened her mouth, a group of elf leaders shouted. They all rebuked the dark elf elder Bev who had surrendered to the enemy. Bev shook her head, her delicate face showing a firm expression, and said, The goddess of nature and elves have already abandoned us, and the shameless goddess of darkness has brought a disaster to our tribe. Only the Lord of Holy Light can protect our dark elves. The Lord is kind and loving, and he does not despise us just because we are dark elves. He is the hope for our tribe to return to the surface world. Bev's eyes fell on Doris's beautiful face with heavy makeup. Chief, the dark underground world does not belong to us. Our ancestral land is on the surface. Believing in the holy light and joining the Lord, we can return to the surface world and bathe in the glory of the sun. With the Lord's blessing, we don't have to worry about being expelled by the natural elves. This is an opportunity for the tribe to revive. Enough, Doris shouted angrily. She found that after Bev's few words, the expressions of the elf leaders changed. Some of the high-ranking officials even showed a look of longing in their eyes. If Bev is not stopped, these elf high-ranking officials may have to rebel together. Of course, this is not because Bev's words carry the power of bewitching, but simply because the dark elves also yearn for the surface world covered by sunlight. But due to the ban of the natural elves and the scorn of other intelligent races, the dark elves can only stay in the dark underground world, with evil creatures such as the undead, the evil eye, and the human-faced spider. This has never been the life that the dark elves want. They are phantoms in the dark, but it does not mean that they are keen on the dark world. Doris glared at the dark elf elder Bev and said, Do you know what you are doing? You are betraying the queen of the elf. We dark elves do not need the protection of gods. Her Majesty the Queen will protect us. Bev said, Her Majesty the Queen is only a demigod. When the real disaster comes, only the power of the gods can protect us. Doris sneered and said, If that lord of the other world is a true god, I will surrender immediately. The power of the true god can easily destroy the entire dark elf tribe. Why send a corps of soldiers to attack? There is no need to use strategies to confuse your tribe. But Bev said solemnly, The Holy Lord will become a god in no time. Bev, you have been completely confused. Doris immediately ordered to capture the dark elf elder Bev, but at this moment, the sacred light was already whistling and instantly poured into the dark elf tribe. You can see that it is a dense crowd of angels. All of them held angel swords burning with golden flames. What kind of intelligent creature is this? Doris, the great elf elder Carol and others were immediately shocked. They had never seen an angel before. In their eyes, the angels who descended with the holy light were just like the legendary creatures of the gods, beautiful, noble, and inviolable. They are angels, the Holy Spirit messengers under the Lord of Holy Light. The dark elf elder Bev, who was standing not far away, explained. Doris ignored it, but said with a shocked expression, What a powerful sacred and bright aura. They are not creatures of the light camp at all, but have both sacredness and light. Carol on the side also took a breath and said, It is the legendary sacred creature, never seen before. Other elf leaders were also extremely surprised. The dark elves are much more knowledgeable than goblins and grey dwarves, because they have the inheritance of the elf mother tree. Therefore, it is obvious at a glance that the angels are holy creatures. In the world of the floating island, creatures of the light camp exist, but holy creatures only exist in legends. Unexpectedly, they actually saw one today. A high-ranking elf said with a serious expression, No wonder these angels can capture the burial ground in a short time. and defeat our elf army. The legendary sacred creatures are naturally powerful in combat. Even the sacred creatures cannot defeat our will. While speaking, Doris and Carol, the two strongest people in the tribe, picked up their weapons. One is a dagger with a cold light. The other is a magic wand that exudes the breath of dark elements. Different weapons represent their different professions. Doris looked up at the sky, her eyes fell directly on the six-winged angel Angelia, and said, "There is only one king-level professional among these angels. I will deal with her. Carol, you take people to intercept other angels. Hold on, and we will get support immediately after the chaos in the tribe is settled." Doris said confidently, "We have not lost, we still have Mother. As long as Mother takes action, the victory of this war will definitely belong to our tribe." "Yes, Chief." All the elves nodded. Hearing Mother, they also lifted their morale a little. The fighting power of the elf mother tree can be comparable to that of the extraordinary level. Among these angels, the highest level is only the early king level. They have reason to believe that as long as the elf mother tree is willing to fight, even if these angels are sacred creatures, their tribe will definitely win. "Be careful." Carol looked at Doris beside her and said, "These angels can kill the skeleton king Ryan. Their fighting power must be very strong and cannot be measured by level." Doris hummed. A pair of dark red eyes locked onto the six-winged angel Angelia standing high in the sky, and said loudly, "If you want to destroy my dark elf tribe, then step over my corpse." However, Angelica ignored her. Only the six-winged angel Renee, who was traveling with her, descended from the sky holding the flaming sword and slowly landed on the square. She raised her head slightly and looked down at the elf leader Doris. "Humble dark elf, your opponent is me. But before the battle, I will give you a chance to redeem yourself." Arrogant. Hearing this, Doris's full chest rose and fell with anger. No one has ever used the word humble to describe her. This is contempt for her and the entire Dark Elf clan. A mere late 9th level, do you want to cross the level and defy the heaven? As soon as the angry voice fell, Doris's sexy and enchanting body disappeared out of thin air. This is the stealth assassination that the Dark Elf assassin is best at? With her late king level, the assassination technique can even threaten professionals in the extraordinary realm. In front of an angel, invisibility is useless. The six-winged angel Renee raised the angel sword in her hand and slashed it fiercely in the void. Angel combat skill, faith judgment. Suddenly, a golden sword fell from the sky and exploded violently when it hit the ground. In an instant, the bright holy light surged in all directions. The dark elf leader Doris, who was in the invisible state, was instantly reflected. At this moment, she had appeared several meters away from the six-winged angel Renee. But the expression on her delicate face was a look of astonishment. Her proud invisibility skill was broken just like that? Chapter 104. However, Doris was only stunned for a moment. The next second, she almost teleported, and the dagger in her hand stabbed directly at Renee. But Renee slashed with her hand, and the dagger in front of her flew out along with the elf leader Doris. The strength was beyond Doris's expectations. Soon, a more intense battle broke out. One was a six-winged angel of the 9th level. The other was a dark elf assassin of the king level. There was a whole realm difference between the two. The battle should have ended quickly, with the one with the higher level winning. But Carol and the other elves who were watching from a distance found that their chieftain had already fallen behind after only a few rounds of fighting. It was fine that the invisibility skill could not be used. The assassin's skills such as jump slash, backstab, and instant slash were actually not very effective. The six-winged angel waved the flaming sword in her hand, protecting her body with sword light. Her defense was so strong that it was impeccable, and she didn't give their chieftain any chance at all. On the contrary, every attack she made could repel Doris. In a short while, Doris's face turned red. It was obvious that her internal organs were injured. However, how can a late-level 9th-level angel be so powerful? And after just a few moves, he began to suppress the clan leader who is a late-level king-level warrior. The fighting power of the sacred creatures is too terrifying. No wonder Skeleton King Ryan can't stop it. A group of elves discussed with worried expressions. Elf Elder Carol turned her eyes away from the fierce battlefield and looked at the six-winged angel Angelia standing high in the sky, as if dominating everything. The six-winged angel of the late-level 9th level is so powerful. How amazing will the fighting power of this six-winged angel who has reached the king level be? Until now, she has not made a move. Is she waiting for something? Not only did the six-winged angel Angelia not make a move, but other angels also did not attack the Dark Elf tribe. because they received an order to temporarily cease fire. Only Elena, Elsa, and Anna, who were four-winged dark angels, flew directly above the dark elf tribe with their sacred staffs. What do those angels want to do? I don't know. But no matter what they want to do, it must be bad. We should find a way to stop them. Stop? How to stop? Can you fly? As soon as these words came out, all the elf leaders were speechless. They are dark elves, not elemental elves, let alone flower fairies. Before they enter the extraordinary level, they naturally cannot fly. This includes the elf elder Carol. The dark elemental magic she mastered did not provide her with the ability to fly. Besides, even if she could fly, she couldn't die. The king level 6 winged angel overlooked the entire tribe. Once she flew high into the sky, she would definitely be chopped down by a sword, and she might not even be able to save her life. What is mother doing? Why haven't you transformed yet? Carol was very anxious. The chaos in the tribe has not subsided. The chieftain was suppressed by a level 9 late 6 winged angel again. At a height of 100 meters, there were nearly 1,000 angels watching. Although it was unknown why the angels did not launch an attack, they could descend from the sky at any time. At this time, the tribe had entered the most critical moment. Urgently needed the assistance of the elf mother tree. She expected the elf mother tree to immediately transform into an ancient tree man to help the tribe overcome this difficulty. At this time, Carol suddenly discovered that the 3 four-winged angels in the sky raised their staffs in unison. At that moment, a strong sense of uneasiness surged into her heart. Disperse, disperse all, Carol shouted immediately. Ordered the dark elves in the tribe who were still fighting each other to disperse. However, even if her voice resounded throughout the tribe, only a few dark elves could disperse in time, because many tribal elves were entangled by the elf believers. In addition, Elena, Elsa, and Anna stood at 3 locations above the tribe. The sacred power radiated towards the tribe below in a triangular shape. Even if the dark elves wanted to escape, where could they escape to? No matter how fast they were, they could not faster than the power of magic. The next moment, holy light poured down, illuminating the dark elf tribe. Endless light rain appeared from the void again. It fell densely like a rainstorm. At the same time, there was a whisper like holy words, which was the 3 four-winged dark angels of Elena reciting the words of the Lord of Holy Light, faith magic. 3 faith magics fell at the same time. In an instant, the dark elves in the tribe knelt on the ground. Their level was too low, and they had no special secrets to protect their souls, so it was naturally impossible for them to resist the faith magic of the 4-winged archangels. But in just a few seconds, the dark elves surrendered. And it was not just the adult dark elves, but also the young elves. The cute dark elves, like porcelain dolls, also knelt on the ground obediently, praising the Lord of Holy Light in a baby voice. This seemed a bit cruel. But from another perspective, isn't it a lucky thing? As native elves, they need at least 100 years to reach adulthood. And they may not be able to step into the extraordinary and holy realms in their lifetime. But after following Lin Yu, they can grow up quickly. Not to mention the extraordinary and holy realms. Even becoming a god and immortal in the future is not impossible. Then, Elena and the other 2 released several more faith spells until all the dark elves in the tribe were transformed into believers of the holy light. Under their orders, thousands of dark elf believers gathered, surrounded the square outside the conference hall. This scene made Carol and other elf leaders of the tribe awe-stunned, and their delicate and beautiful cheeks were pale. They can swear that they have never seen such a terrifying magic. Even forbidden spells are difficult to do. After all, this is not killing, but twisting the will and soul of living beings and forcibly transforming them into believers of gods. This is simply divine magic. And it is a very extreme divine magic. Carol and the others raised their heads and looked at Elena and the other 2 standing high in the sky, their eyes full of fear. Now they finally understood why those legion elves became traitors. If it were them, they would probably not be able to resist. Compared with their fear, Elena and the other 2 were as calm as ever, and returned to the formation of the Angel Legion after completing the task. For them, spreading faith is their job. After a round of work, purifying thousands of dark elves is not a big deal. After all, faith in divine magic is their signature skill. In fact, they are just the weakest divine magic angels. If it is their boss's boss, the 12-winged cherubim in peak state, then even the true god can purify. There was a muffled bang. A beautiful figure suddenly flew backwards and fell heavily to the ground. It was the chieftain of the Dark Elf tribe, Doris. Blood was flowing from the corner of her mouth and her face was pale, but she was still determined to fight. She was ready to stand up and fight with the six-winged angel Renee. However, at this moment, an angel sword burning with golden flames appeared in front of her. The tip of the sword was only 5 centimeters away from her forehead. "If you resist again, I will chop off your head with the next sword." The six-winged angel Renee was proud and looked down coldly at the elf chieftain Doris, who was full of despair but unwilling to fail. "Chief!" a group of elf leaders shouted and wanted to come to rescue. But they were surrounded by angels falling from the sky. The elf elder Carol tightly grasped the staff in her hand, wanting to release dark magic to break through the siege and rescue Doris, but she was also stared at by a gaze and dared not act rashly. That was a warning from Renee. Remind her that if she dares to act rashly, Doris will surely die. She was desperate. "Mother, please save our patriarch and our tribe," some elves shouted in grief and anger, calling for the wisdom of the mother tree of elves. All the elves were in tears. They didn't understand why their mother hadn't taken action until now. Did she abandon them? At this moment a sigh suddenly sounded. Then, a light and shadow slowly appeared in the square. It was the wisdom of the mother tree of elves. It raised its head and looked up at the six-winged angel Angelia standing high in the sky as if looking up to a god, and said, "I obey your will, but please forgive my children." Chapter 105. The huge square was in a dead silence. The elf leader Doris, the elf elder Carol, and the leaders of dozens of elf tribes all looked dazed as they watched the light and shadow appear in front of them. That was their mother. The most sacred dark elf mother tree in the tribe. When they first saw it, they were pleasantly surprised. They thought the elf mother tree was finally going to transform and save the tribe. But the result made them even more desperate. The expression of surprise solidified on the delicate and beautiful cheeks. All the dark elves looked at the wisdom of the elf mother tree in disbelief. When they were firmly guarding the tribe, their most trusted mother actually surrendered first. And they surrendered without any resistance. This made them feel incredible. And it was hard to accept. "Mother, we haven't lost yet. The tribe still has hope," a tribal leader holding an elven sword shouted in grief and anger. "Why do you choose to surrender? You are the elf mother tree, the most powerful war weapon of our elves. You can transform into an ancient tree man to save the tribe. Mother, you can't surrender." Other elf leaders were also crying. In their opinion, the tribe's elf mother tree has a powerful combat power comparable to that of extraordinary professionals. Even if there is no way to repel all the angels, you can take some of the tribe members to escape from the battlefield, so as not to let the entire tribe be wiped out. But the elf mother tree surrendered without a fight. The light and shadow of the elf mother tree is an illusory female figure, with a beautiful face like an elf. At this time, her expression is very complicated. For her, surrender is also a very difficult choice. Since the end of the Dark Ages, no elf mother tree has ever bowed its head to a foreign race. She is the first one. She doesn't know if her choice is right. Perhaps, she will become a shame in the history of the Dark Elf clan. But she has to do it. She is not afraid of fighting, nor is she afraid of death. She just doesn't want to make a meaningless resistance. Because resistance means that some elves will die at the hands of those angels, and it may even lead to the destruction of the tribe. That terrible existence is not a very patient person. Her eyes have always been indifferent and arrogant, as if all living beings are ants in her eyes. Including her, the spirit of the elf mother tree. "You made a smart decision," the six-winged angel Angelia, standing high in the sky, looked down at the wisdom of the elf mother tree and said in admiration, "You have opened a door to a new world for the humble dark elves. Behind this door is infinite glory and hope." Angelia walked down slowly, and the angels behind her all lowered their heads. She said to the wisdom of the elf mother tree, "The future dark elves will be grateful for your decision. I only ask you to forgive my children," the wisdom of the elf mother tree said with a wry smile. She didn't know what would happen in the future. She only knew that her children should not die. "Of course," Angelia said in a light tone, "they are believers of our Lord. As long as they serve the Lord of Holy Light loyally, no one can hurt them, including the elf god." Regarding Angelia's words, the wisdom of the elf mother tree did not comment. The creator of the elves, the goddess of nature and elves, is the supreme god. It is said that she was so powerful in the battlefield of the 10,000 worlds that countless gods bow down to her. But the one in front of her is only a king now. It is hard to say whether he can really protect them. As for the Lord of Holy Light, she has never seen him and dared not make any guesses. After all, this is disrespectful to the gods, even if the Lord of Holy Light has not yet become a god. The spirit of the Mother Elf tree turned around, looked at Doris, Carol and other high-level people of the Dark Elf tribe. She sighed slightly and said, "Put down your weapons, my children, this is not an order, but my request to you." The high-level Dark Elves looked at each other. However, no one put down their weapons first. At this time, Doris stood up, wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, and asked the spirit of the Mother Elf tree, "Mother, are you afraid of dying in battlefield? In the Dark Ages, how many elven mother trees turned into dry bones on the battlefield? How many Dark Elves fought for the survival of their tribe? Have you forgotten all this?" The spirit of the elven mother tree shook her head and said, "The glory of our ancestors, I dare not forget. The blood of the ancient tree people still flows in my body, and I can always hear the call of war." Hearing this, Doris fell silent. After a long time, she raised her dark red eyes and looked deeply at the spirit of the elven mother tree. After noticing the complex emotions in the eyes of the elven mother tree, she seemed to understand something. Finally, Doris put away the dagger. Seeing this, other elf leaders also put down their weapons, including the great elder of the elves, Carol, who is a king-level dark elementalist. After that, there was no resistance. The elf leaders let the bright light envelop them. At this moment, they walked out of the darkness and became creatures of the sacred and light camps. It can be clearly felt that there is a breath of holy light emanating from them, and even the staff of the elf elder Carol also overflows with holy light. This is an elemental mutation. As for what it will become in the end, no one knows. The wisdom of the elf mother tree looked at Angelica and said, "My body has no way to leave the tribe and go to the surface world unless I transform into an ancient tree man, but at that time, I will also lose the ability to reproduce elves." Angelica said lightly, "It depends on your luck. If you are lucky, you will be reborn. If you are unlucky, you will still die." The elf mother tree was stunned for a moment. With a slight sigh, he said, "Everything is subject to your wishes." At this time, Angelica saluted in the direction of the territory as if she had received some instructions. Then, she issued an order to destroy the core building of the Dark Elf tribe, Conference Hall. Under the wisdom of the elf mother tree and the gaze of thousands of dark elves, a group of beautiful and holy angels rushed forward. 2 rounds of attacks destroyed the tribe's conference hall. At the same time, other buildings of the elf tribe, including the walls, seemed to be shrouded by some destructive force, and collapsed one after another, turning into ruins. Of course, there is also the elf mother tree. The elf mother tree, which is hundreds of meters high, withered and decayed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few seconds, it turned into a rotten wooden stake. The light and shadow standing on the square also disappeared. "Mother!" Almost all the dark elves cried in grief at this moment. Faith could not make them calmly look at the death of the elf mother tree. Their souls were not distorted by faith in essence. In addition to their faith and loyalty to Lin Yu, they still retained all the previous emotions. At this moment, a drawing emitting a faint golden light floated out from the remains of the elf mother tree. Seeing this scene, Angelica's eyebrows slightly raised. "It seems you're lucky." Chapter 106. The battle was a success, but the battle was a success. Congratulations, Lord Lin Yu, your army successfully destroyed the Dark Elf tribe, you gained the hatred of the Dark Elf clan, you gained the hostility of the Natural Elf clan and were blacklisted. Congratulations, you gained defense upgrade blueprints, 13 wooden house blueprints, 5 arrow tower blueprints, 1 Dark Elf army building blueprint, and a gold-level stronghold treasure chest. As expected, the Angel Legion can really take care of the Dark Elf tribe, and the speed is very fast. However, no Dark Elf died in the process of conquering the Dark Elf tribe, which is beyond my expectation. Tribal attack and defense war. It is a war, and there will be death. But what surprised Lin Yu was that not a single Dark Elf was killed by the Angel. It was as if the entire Dark Elf tribe surrendered directly. This surprised him a little. But this is also a good thing. After all, for every Dark Elf who dies, I will lose a believer and a top-level soldier. Dark Elves, like natural elves, are top-level soldiers. Whether in terms of combat effectiveness or growth potential, they are far superior to goblins and grey dwarves. The value is still very high. By the way, don't the natural elves despise the Dark Elves? Why, after I conquered the Dark Elf tribe, the natural elves not only did not show friendship, but were hostile to me and put me on the blacklist. Lin Yu was very curious. He was not afraid, but was simply surprised. Could it be that the natural elves' true attitude towards the dark elves who were expelled to the underground world was not just superficial disgust? Judging from the information prompts given by Floating Island of 10,000 Worlds, this is very likely. Lin Yu then looked at the last information prompt, and his face, which was originally puzzled, suddenly showed an extremely bright smile. My luck value exploded. I actually got the Dark Elf's military building drawings. This is simply a surprise. The joy on Lin Yu's face was second only to the angel, the only military unit he randomly got. Army building blueprints. This is not a one-time army number blueprint. The value of this blueprint cannot be described in words. Even if it is a divine weapon, it is not as valuable as it. After all, as long as I build it, I can summon the Dark Elves, who are top-level soldiers, just like summoning angels. For Lord professionals, the value of a divine weapon is far less than that of a military building that can summon top-level soldiers. After all, the latter can form a large army. If any of the soldiers become gods, the role they play is much greater than that of divine weapons. But at this time, Lin Yu rubbed his forehead with a tangled expression. Because he didn't know how to deal with this army building blueprint. Although the Dark Elves are top-level soldiers, their growth potential is far less than that of his angels. Whether it is a double-winged angel or an angel of a higher status, they can compare. If it is the same price, then there is no need for him to spend gold coins on the Dark Elves. For other lords, this army-building blueprint is priceless and a treasure. But for Lin Yu, it seems useless and a pity to throw it away. As for selling it to those lords, he has never thought about it. Such top army-building blueprints would rather be built by himself as a landscape decoration than let others get them. People are always selfish. Wait until Angelica and the others bring the blueprint back. Lin Yu took a deep breath to calm his entanglement. The dark underground world. In the ruins of the Dark Elf tribe, a large amount of food, wood, stone, iron ore and other materials were gathered. Finally, Angelica put them all into the space equipment Skeleton King's belt. With the space storage equipment, the transportation of spoils is much simpler. No longer need to be transported back to the territory by manpower over long distances. Let's go. Return to the surface world. Angelia gave orders to the assembled angel army and Dark Elves. As she spoke, she looked at the elf leader Doris. This sexy and enchanting Dark Elf leader was holding a light ball with both hands. The light ball was dark red and there seemed to be blood flowing inside. Saint Envoy, aware of Angelica's gaze, Doris hurriedly explained, after the death of the mother, the elves that were still in the womb became this light ball. If the mother was still alive, these elves would have a chance to be born. As she spoke, Doris's cheeks showed a trace of sadness. Especially when she saw the light ball in her arms, the sadness in her eyes became more intense. Now, the mother tree of the elves is dead. The elves in the light ball may never have the chance to see the light of day. This is a very sad thing. Angelica said calmly, the mother tree of the elves is not completely dead. If the Lord of Holy Light is willing to favor it, it will have a chance to revive. Hearing this, Doris immediately turned from sadness to joy. The other Dark Elves were also surprised as if they had seen the dawn. The Lord is merciful and will definitely resurrect Mother, then you should pray. Angelia didn't say anything more and rushed straight into the sky. Seeing this, the six-winged angel Renee immediately led the angel army to follow behind. As the angel army went away, the brilliant holy light dissipated from the Dark Elf tribe. The world became dark again. Looking at the ruins of the buildings on the ground, it was somewhat desolate. However, the Dark Elves all raised their spirits and quickly chased after the backs of the angel army under the leadership of Doris, the great elder of the Elves Carol and other elf high levels. An hour later, the Dark Elves arrived at the exit of the underground world. Looking around, there were remains of undead creatures everywhere, and pieces of land scorched by the holy flames of angels. Further away, there was the underground world shrouded in darkness. It was dark, gloomy, and filled with a breath of despair. Carol, do you think we still have the chance to come back here? Yes, Elven Elder Carol said, the light of the Holy Lord will once again cover the underground world, purify all the evil in the underground world, and bring the holy light to the imperial city. When the Holy Lord becomes a god, Her Majesty the Queen of the Elf will also have a chance to embrace the light. At that time, our Dark Elves will be able to completely set foot on the surface world. Praise the holy light. A group of Dark Elves spoke one after another. Without stopping for too long, thousands of Dark Elves poured into the underground passage. After walking for an unknown period of time, they finally passed through the passage. The moment they stood on the surface world, the sun shone on every dark elf, making their already fair skin look even whiter and brighter. The breeze blew, and rows of dark red long hair fluttered like skirts. Snow-white arms, straight long legs, seductive and sexy figures. All bathed in the sun. Each dark elf seemed to be radiating light. They all squinted their eyes, breathing in the fresh air of the surface world, and their delicate and beautiful faces showed a refreshing expression that they had never had before. At this moment, they seemed to be reborn. Chapter 107. The sky was full of fog, and the sky was full of fog. Is this the surface world? The elemental magic contained in the air is many times richer than that in the underground world. There are so many trees. There are trees in the underground world, but they are not in large areas like the surface world, and they are lush and green, exuding a surging breath of life. Is that the sun? As rumored, the sun's light will irritate the eyes, the dark elves discussed excitedly. Everything in the surface world makes them feel novel, including the sun above their heads. There is no sun in the underground world. The light source basically comes from glowing stones, trees, and hot lava rivers. The entire dark elf tribe, including Doris, the tribe leader, saw what the sun looked like on the surface for the first time. For so many years, they had never left the underground world. One reason was the ban of the Dark Elf Queen. The other reason was that the creatures on the surface were not friendly to the Dark Elves. Even the undead in the burial ground usually came to the surface world for a walk at night. Elf Elder Carol seemed to have thought of something and said, "Chief, according to our genealogy, you can reach the dark forest by passing through the underground passage. This should be it." "Yeah," Doris nodded. Under her full chest, her hands always embraced a ball of light. That was the hope of the tribe's inheritance. Carol said with a serious expression, "It is said that there are natural elves in the dark forest, and they are kingdom-level forces. Although they are not as powerful as our imperial city, there are also strong men from the Holy Land guarding it." "Don't worry," Doris said, "the Lord of Holy Light will protect us." Hearing this, Carol's nervous mood slowly relaxed. Yes, they are no longer helpless dark elves now. The Holy Lord will protect them. "Let's go to the Holy Lord's territory, there will be our new home." Doris, wearing a black gauze dress, walked in front, followed by a mighty team of dark elves, with a total number of more than 6,000. If this scene is seen by professionals, they will definitely be shocked. Because they are all dark elves that should not appear in the surface world. Although dark elves have the iconic pointed ears of the elves, they also have dark red eyes different from natural elves, 2 pairs of vampire-like fangs, and dark red hair. A perfect template of evil creatures. A huge team of dark elves shuttled through the dense forest. Wherever they passed, they killed all the wild monsters they encountered. The corpses of wild monsters were not spared either, and were carried on the backs of dark elves one by one, ready to be taken back to the territory of the Lord of Holy Light. Food in the underground world is very scarce. As a result, the dark elves have developed a good habit of thrift and frugality. "Chief, when I was killing those monsters, a special energy suddenly emerged in my body, which seemed to strengthen my physical fitness." I felt it too. Not only does it strengthen the body, that kind of energy can also improve the level. I just killed a level 7 monster, and I suddenly felt that the shackles of the realm for a long time were being impacted. It seems that I can break through as long as I kill a few more monsters. This must be the blessing of the Lord of Holy Light. The dark elves were very excited. Killing monsters can improve the level, which is much faster than meditation. Doris and Carol also tried to kill a few wild monsters. As a result, they also received the original energy reward. They looked at each other. Instantly understood why the angels under the Lord of Holy Light had upgraded so quickly. "Carol, I see the hope of the tribe's prosperity. It would be great if Mother was still alive." "Don't worry, Chief. The Holy Envoy said that as long as we pray to the Lord of Holy Light, the Lord of Holy Light may resurrect Mother." "Praise the Lord." The huge dark elf team set off again. Crossing the dense forests, they headed straight for Lin Yu's territory. With the help of the induction of faith in their hearts, they can find the right direction by themselves, even if no one guides them. On the other side, after returning to the surface world, the angel army split up. A full-scale angel team. They did not return to the territory. Instead, they went to different areas to hunt wild monsters. It was already afternoon. Night was about to come. The angel army was not in a hurry to attack the 2-headed demon tribe, because they needed to gather in the territory in the evening to prepare for the night war with the undead creatures. Only the six-winged angel Angelia returned to the territory alone. She came back to hand over the spoils. My lord, a beautiful figure fell from the sky. Her usual elegance and noble temperament. Lin Yu was still sleeping on the recliner, and only got up after seeing Angelia come back. Just as I expected, you have reached the king level. This is the Lord's favor. In front of Lin Yu, Angelica lost her aloof attitude and said respectfully, after killing Skeleton King Ryan, I broke through to the king level. My lord, this is the harvest of war. Angelica took off the Skeleton King belt, tied around her waist and handed it to Lin Yu. All the spoils are in it, space magic equipment. Lin Yu's eyes lit up. He reached out to take the black and gold belt that still had a trace of Angelica's body temperature and fragrance. At the same time, the information of the belt was also presented in front of him. Skeleton King's belt, type, special equipment, durability. 100, special effect 1, space storage, can store items, special effect 2, shock aura, can shock skeleton undead up to king level, special effect 3, undead summoning, can summon 3 level 9 lord skeletons each time. Introduction. This is a very rare undead camp equipment, only kings are qualified to own it. Good stuff, Lin Yu praised. The reason why those veteran lord professionals were able to bring the spirit rice back to Blue Star was because of this space magic equipment with storage ability. And it must be admitted that Skeleton King's belt is a superb equipment. Because it has 3 special effects. And each effect is not bad. The 3 effects are superimposed. It is the most awesome equipment at this stage, no one else. Unfortunately, for Lin Yu, this equipment is only useful for its spatial storage effect. How do I use this thing? Lin Yu looked at Angelica, who was standing quietly by his side. Angelica explained, my lord can use it by wearing it on his body. Yes, Lin Yu nodded. Then he tied the belt around his waist. During the process, Angelica came over to help him very considerately. Lin Yu did not refuse. After equipping the Skeleton King's belt, Lin Yu released his spiritual consciousness under Angelica's guidance and connected it with the belt. In an instant, a huge alien space appeared in Lin Yu's vision. It was about the size of 2 football fields. In the space, there were mountains of food, wood, stone and other basic resources. There was also a pile of gold coins like a small mountain, as well as equipment, blueprints, and 2 golden stronghold treasure chests. Lin Yu was so amazed at the amount of spoils. There were nearly 20,000 gold coins alone. With so many gold coins, he could summon 7 fully staffed angel teams at once. Chapter 108. The old man was buried in the grave. As usual, all basic resources such as food and wood were stored in the warehouse. As a result, Lin Yu found that his warehouse with a reserve of 1 million units was not enough. It was because there were too many basic resources seized this time. There were more than 100,000 units of iron ore alone, and the other 3 basic resources, as well as various monster materials and metal materials, were even more. Adding them all together, the warehouse couldn't hold them all. My territory warehouse has been upgraded to a high level. The next level is a town level reserve warehouse, which requires a town territory to upgrade, so Lin Yu needs to find another way. Without hesitation, he waved his hand and upgraded all the 200 intermediate wooden houses in the territory to advanced levels, including the watchtower that had just been built. Advanced wooden houses have more than a dozen rooms. No more than 50 people can live in them at the same time. 200 advanced wooden houses can accommodate 10,000 people. It happened that thousands of dark elf believers were taken in this time. After upgrading the wooden houses, there would be no worries about not having rooms for them to live in. After the watchtower was upgraded to advanced level, the monitoring range reached an area with a diameter of 30 kilometers. This is a very wide range. The previous goblin tribe and the entrance to the underground world are all within the monitoring range of the watchtower. If it is farther away, it can even directly monitor the 2-headed demon tribe. Such a large monitoring area, even if there are enemies of the extraordinary realm attacking, I have enough time to prepare. And with the light of the watchtower, hunting at night will be easier. This wave of upgrades is very worthwhile. After a large number of territory buildings were upgraded, the warehouse can finally hold all kinds of basic resources. But if it is not dealt with quickly, it is only a matter of time before the warehouse explodes. Because the goblin believers and the grey dwarf believers decompose a large amount of beast meat and monster materials every day, all of which need to be stored in the warehouse. After thinking about it, Lin Yu took out most of the food on the warehouse. According to different levels, they were put on the island trading platform. Then the monster materials and metal materials were sent to the blacksmith shop in batches. At this point, more space was freed up for the warehouse. After dealing with the warehouse, Lin Yu then dealt with 2 gold-level stronghold treasure chests. At the same time as the 2 treasure chests were opened, information prompts from the floating island of 10,000 worlds appeared in Lin Yu's mind one by one. Congratulations, Lord Lin Yu, you have successfully opened a gold-level stronghold treasure chest. You get 10,000 units of food, wood, each. You get 2,000 gold coins. You get a demon plant immortal flower. You get a dead spirit magic gem. You get 500 points of honor and 3,000 points of reputation. Congratulations, Lord Lin Yu, you have successfully opened. You get 10,000 units of food, wood, each. You get 2,000 gold coins. You get 5 exclusive troop evolution blueprints. You get 1 dark elf troop quantity blueprint. You get 500 points of honor and 3,000 points of reputation. A series of information prompts appeared in Lin Yu's mind. It shocked him for a long time. After calming down, he took a deep breath and said, "This time I'm rich." 2 gold treasure chests opened a total of 4,000 gold coins, 1,000 points of honor, and 6,000 points of reputation, not to mention other things. Especially the demon plant, the immortal flower. The price in the glory exchange menu is as high as 2,000 honor points. Now it's out of the box. It's like getting 2,000 honor points for free. In addition, there are exclusive soldier evolution blueprints, which are worth 300 honor points each, and 5 of them are worth 1,500 honor points. Isn't this a big profit? Lin Yu then checked the information of the relevant items: immortal flower, subject, herbal flower demon plant, grade, colorful crystal, growth period, 100 days, growth potential, peak of the holy domain, introduction, an extremely rare demon plant that feeds on souls. It usually grows on the road to the underworld and never withers. Note 1. Using souls as nutrients can speed up its growth. Note 2. Remember not to use it as a medicinal material. Eating the immortal flower can make you immortal, but this is just a legend. Quotes from the immortal flower. Under the cover of my domain, even the souls of gods can't enter the underworld safely. Exclusive troop evolution blueprint. Grade, intermediate. Use conditions, territory exclusive troop. Introduction. After using this blueprint, your exclusive troop will have a chance to achieve bloodline evolution, and then increase the growth potential limit. The lower the initial growth potential of the exclusive troop, the higher the evolution probability. Dark Elf Troop Quantity Blueprint. Level. Advanced. Use conditions, only for Lord Professionals. Introduction. After using this blueprint, you will get 1,000 Dark Elf troops, including Elf Assassins, Elf Hunters, Elf Elementalists and other professions. In addition to these, there is also a Great Crystal Magic Gem. This is a magic gem with the attribute of the Dead Spirit element. Lin Yu just glanced at its information casually. It is similar to the Fire Element Magic Gem he got before. Its main purpose is to be embedded in equipment to improve the quality and power of the equipment. However, Lin Yu felt that he would not be able to use it. He is not interested in the power of the undead. Moreover, as the Lord of Holy Light, using the power of the undead does not match his personality. If it is a sacred magic gem, he will be very interested. From the perspective of growth potential, the immortal flower is much stronger than the blackbone blood vine. After all, the growth potential of the blackbone blood vine is only king level. Once the immortal flower matures, it is the peak of the holy domain. The only advantage of the blackbone blood vine is that it can continue to evolve. While speaking, Lin Yu looked at the immortal flower juvenile at his feet. It is only more than 20 centimeters high. A main stem, a dozen slender roots, and a golden flower on the head, which looks a bit like a sunflower, but there are no melon seeds, only a human face. Looking at it, Lin Yu suddenly froze. Because he found that the young of the immortal flower was twisting its slender roots and trying to crawl away sneakily, which was really interesting. He grabbed the young of the immortal flower. As a result, the little thing actually opened its mouth and wanted to bite him, unruly. To deal with such a naughty child, Lin Yu slapped it casually, and the little thing instantly became obedient. Look carefully, I am your father. If you dare to show your teeth and claws to me next time, I will peel off your skin and stew your meat. Woo woo. The young of the immortal flower was frightened and trembled, and dared not to be naughty again. Compared with the black-bone blood vine, its wisdom is obviously higher. Then, Lin Yu gave the young of the immortal flower to Angelica and asked Angelica to plant it next to the black-bone blood vine. After Angelica left, Lin Yu couldn't wait to pick out a blueprint from other spoils. This blueprint is the army construction blueprint, obtained by the Angel Legion after destroying the Dark Elf tribe. Its value is far greater than the immortal flower. Army construction blueprint, level, top, number of times it can be used, once, army recruitable, Dark Elf, construction requirements. 100,000 units of wood, 50,000 units of stone, 30,000 units of iron ore. Introduction, no one can refuse a top-level army construction blueprint, even a lord who has become a god. Note 1. This is an army construction blueprint directly transformed from the Elf Mother Tree. It is rarer than the same type and level of army construction blueprints. Note 2. You can use gold coins to summon arms, or you can let the Elf Mother Tree breed arms on its own. Choose one of the two summoning methods. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109. The old man was very happy. Lin Yu looked at the blueprint in his hand, which was emitting a faint golden light, and his face was quickly covered with a bright smile. Before, when he didn't see the blueprint information, he was still very entangled. On the one hand, he was reluctant to sell a top-level military building blueprint. On the other hand, it was useless for him to build it himself. Because the summoning price was the same as 50 gold coins, he would only summon the double-winged angel instead of the Dark Elf. As a top-level military, the Dark Elf has the potential to grow at the sanctuary level. At most, if he was lucky enough, he could summon some rare demigod-level Dark Elves. But the double-winged angels were all demigod level. In terms of cost-effectiveness, the latter is naturally higher. But now, Lin Yu doesn't have to worry about it. He can choose the second summoning mode, which is to let the Elf Mother Tree breed Dark Elves on its own. In this way, all his gold coins can still be used to summon angels. I just don't know in this mode, how fast is the Elf Mother Tree breeding Dark Elves. If it is compared with the breeding speed of the local Elf Mother Tree, it is still just a decoration. Lin Yu thought about it and found a vacant land not far from the Lord's Hall, to plant the Elf Mother Tree. Want to know whether the breeding speed of the Elf Mother Tree is fast or slow? You will know after planting it. As Lin Yu's mind communicated with a floating island of 10,000 worlds, the blueprint in his hand suddenly turned into golden light and merged into the vacant land. The next moment, the vacant land shook. The ground cracked with a click. Then, a green sapling emerged from the crack and grew taller and bigger at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few seconds the sapling grew to 10 meters high, only slightly shorter than the Lord's Hall next to it. At the same time, an illusory option appeared in Lin Yu's vision, asking him to confirm the summoning mode of the Dark Elf troops. One is gold coins, and the other is self-breeding. Lin Yu decisively chose the latter. After he made his choice, the Elf Mother Tree also stopped growing. The tree is about 15 meters high. The trunk is thick and the tree is lush and leafy like a canopy. This is already a big tree. But compared to the hundreds of meters high Elf Mother Tree of the Dark Elf tribe, it is still only a small tree. And when Lin Yu looked up, the attribute information of the Elf Mother Tree was also presented in front of him. Top-level military building, Dark Elf Mother Tree, level 1, can breed military units, Dark Elf, number of military units that can be bred per day. 50, next level 2 military building, upgrade requirement. 5,000 gold coins, introduction. This is a very special Dark Elf Mother Tree, which is infused with the power of holiness and light, but it did not die due to the conflict of magic power. Instead, some strange changes occurred. Special reminder, increasing the level of the Dark Elf Mother Tree can increase the number of Dark Elves bred and the probability of breeding special elves. Compared to gold coin summoning, self-breeding has a limited number. A level 1 Elf Mother Tree can only breed 50 Dark Elves a day, but this is already very good. 50 Dark Elves are equivalent to 2,500 gold coins, which is a free profit. In addition, I can also upgrade the Elf Mother Tree. Upgrading the level can increase the number of Dark Elves bred every day. Lin Yu thought about it and opened the upgrade option of Elf Mother Tree. and upgraded the level of the elf mother tree to level 2 at the cost of consuming 5,000 gold coins. After upgrading to level 2, the elf mother tree grew to tens of meters high. The height has exceeded the Lord's Hall next to it. The canopy-like canopy is more luxuriant. The most important thing is that the number of dark elves that can be bred by the level 2 elf mother tree every day has doubled directly, reaching a full 100. In other words, Lin Yu can get 100 dark elves every day from now on. Originally, it would cost 5,000 gold coins to recruit 100 top-level soldiers. Now, he paid the same amount of gold coins, but got countless 100 top-level soldiers in the future, which is a very cost-effective thing. Keep going. Lin Yu, who tasted the sweetness, upgraded the level of the elf mother tree again, this time consuming a full 10,000 gold coins. Accompanied by a rumbling sound, the elven mother tree, which was tens of meters high, began to grow wildly again. In the blink of an eye, it reached a height of more than 100 meters. The shade of the tree was cast down, covering a very wide area. At this time, the level of the elven mother tree had reached level 3, and it could breed 300 top-level dark elves every day. Hiss, 300 dark elves, according to the recruitment price, it is 15,000 gold coins, and I only spent 15,000 gold coins to upgrade the elven mother tree to level 3, but I can get 300 dark elves every day. It's a big profit. Lin Yu couldn't help himself. Getting 300 top-level soldiers for free every day would make any lord professional feel happy. Unfortunately, it takes 30,000 gold coins to upgrade the elf mother tree to level 4, and I've been emptied out. All the gold coins on me add up to less than 10,000. Lin Yu felt a little regretful. If he had enough gold coins, he would definitely upgrade the level of the elf mother tree to the highest level to see how many dark elves it can breed every day. After all, from an investment perspective, the sooner he upgrades the level of the elf mother tree, the higher his returns will be. It's completely different to get a few hundred dark elves for free every day. The sooner you upgrade, the greater the profit. Anyway, my wallet is empty. Just as Lin Yu was talking to himself, 2 dark red balls of light suddenly flew out from the top of the elf mother tree. The balls of light slowly floated down and landed in front of Lin Yu. And they were still expanding at an accelerated rate. In just a few seconds, the 2 balls of light expanded to more than 1 meter. Is this the birth of a dark elf? Lin Yu was stunned. Under his gaze, the light ball began to vibrate, crack, and finally shatter. In an instant, 2 beautiful jade-like figures appeared in Lin Yu's field of vision. They all had long dark red hair that reached their waists, the iconic pointed ears of elves, eyes of the same color as their hair, and a small fang on each side of their mouths. Tall figure, slender arms, slender white legs, flat and smooth belly. All exposed. Only the important parts were covered by clothes woven from green leaves and thin vines. The overall shape was similar to that of the Calabash brothers. Of course, they were much sexier than the short and fat Calabash brothers. Greetings, Lord, praise you, the Supreme Lord of Holy Light. While Lin Yu was stunned, the 2 dark elves had already knelt respectfully in front of him. The perfect curves presented when in kneeling were full of endless temptation. Get up. Lin Yu took a deep breath and tried to calm the restlessness in his heart. At the same time, he opened the information of the 2 dark elves to check. Dark Elf Hunter, initial level, level 4, growth potential, saint level. Note, excellent dark elf hunters have super eagle vision and accurate long-range shooting capabilities. Even tiny flies can't escape the arrows in their hands. Dark Elf Assassin, initial level, level 4, growth potential, saint level peak. Note, dark elf assassins who are good at shadow assassination can often kill enemies stronger than them. They are the phantoms in the night and the nightmares of elementalists. 2 new dark elves, same initial level. Different professions, different growth potential. It can be seen that the occupations and growth potential of the dark elves bred by the elf mother tree should be random, but they are all at the saint level, unless a special elf is bred. From now on, your names are Ellie and Shabe. Praise the Lord. The 2 dark elves, Ellie and Shabe, knelt down in front of Lin Yu again excitedly. From Lin Yu's perspective, the body curves of the 2 elves are very exaggerated. Pure as shaped, very attractive. In the following time, more dark elves were bred by the elf mother tree, and each of them was covered with the green leaves, tall, and beautiful. However, Lin Yu did not give them any more names. He was really powerless to keep up with a breeding speed of 300 per day. Chapter 110. After that, Lin Yu returned to the Lord's Hall. to deal with other spoils of war. First, the equipment, a total of more than 70 pieces, basically all from the war with the boneyard. Ordinary equipment is sold at different levels, with a 30% premium. Equipment with special properties is directly auctioned. Then there are drawings, more than 20, most of which are wooden houses and arrow tower drawings, and a few are fence drawings, which he also put on the trading platform. As for the wooden house and arrow tower drawings, they were used one by one, including the wooden house drawings and arrow tower drawings, obtained after destroying the Dark Elf tribe. All of them were used. At last count, he built nearly 300 wooden houses and 42 arrow towers. So far, his territory has about 500 wooden houses and 96 arrow towers. He upgraded all the newly built wooden houses to high level. A total of about 25,000 people can live in. If nothing unexpected happens, his territory will not have the problem of people having no houses to live in a short time. Including the 6,000 tribal elves, the total number of his people is only about 10,000. More than half of the wooden houses are empty. As for the arrow towers, Lin Yu did not upgrade them and still kept them at the level of low-level arrow towers. Before the territory is upgraded to a town, he will upgrade them uniformly. If there are enough resources at that time, he will upgrade all the arrow towers to turrets. Compared with arrow towers, turrets are more powerful. In addition to the above drawings, Lin Yu also found a medical clinic drawing. This is good news. It means that he only needs to get the tavern blueprint again, and his territory can be upgraded to a town territory building blueprint, type, clinic, number of uses, wants, construction requirements. 1,000 units of wood, 800 units of stone, 500 units of iron ore. Special reminder, the clinic is an indispensable building for the development of the territory. It can provide various medical services for your people and greatly increase the prosperity of the territory. Soon, along with the disappearance of the blueprint, a building that is all white and looks like a church appeared in Lin Yu's territory. Clinic, level, low level, priests can be equipped. 10 people, treatable items, minor injuries, mild poisoning, minor illnesses, upgrade requirements. 5,000 units of wood, 3,000 units of stone, 2,000 units of iron ore. Introduction. With a clinic, your territory can be healthy for all people. The medical system is also an indispensable service system for a kingdom, and its importance cannot be ignored. It's a pity that there is no priest in my territory. As for the need for one, the clinic can be used, but it doesn't matter. With a building, the priest will be found sooner or later. Lin Yu didn't care too much. Now, he still has 3 blueprints left. Among them, 2 fence upgrade blueprints are from the harvest of destroying the Dark Elf tribe. 5 exclusive soldier evolution blueprints, and 1 Dark Elf soldier quantity blueprint are from the harvest of opening the gold level stronghold treasure chest. First, there are 2 fence upgrade blueprints. Lin Yu first upgraded the territories, low-level fence, 2 intermediate fence, and then used these 2 upgrade blueprints at once. Directly raised the territory fence by 2 levels. From intermediate fence to advanced fence. And finally advanced to a wall. Wall is no longer a wooden structure. Instead, it is made of large blue stones. The surface of the large blue stones also exudes a certain magical luster. It can not only resist physical impact, but also weaken magic attacks to a certain extent. The overall blue-white wall is about 4 meters high and 2 meters wide, surrounding the entire territory. It looks more like a city wall. The durability is as high as 5,000 points. You should know that the durability of low-level fences is only 300 points. In addition, after the fence is upgraded to wall, the nearby arrow towers are also moved. All ran to the wall. It's like a wooden fortress. Now these are low-level arrow towers. When Lin Yu upgrades them to turrets, they will look more like fortresses. Then there's the Dark Elf troops quantity drawing. This is a high-level drawing. It is 1 level higher than the Goblin troops quantity drawing that Lin Yu got at the beginning. After using it, you can obtain 1,000 Dark Elf troops. It is equivalent to 2 small-scale legions. As the Dark Elf troops quantity drawing, in Lin Yu's hand turned into countless golden lights and disappeared, dense virtual figures suddenly appeared on the square of the territory. After a few seconds, all the figures solidified. It was as if they had descended from fantasy into reality. This is a fully armed and elite Dark Elf Legion. Elf Hunters, standard leather armor, Elf Longbow, and quiver. Elf assassins, standard leather armor, elf daggers, and sleeve arrows. Elf swordsmen, standard metal light armor and elf greatswords. Elf elementalists, standard black and gold magic dresses, and elf staffs. These 4 professions are the 4 major professions of the Dark Elves. There are no priests and shield armorers in this legion. However, there are several druids, all wearing gray robes and holding a staff that looks like it was made of branches. Dark Elf Druid, level 9, elite, not the initial level, growth potential, peak of the saint level. Note, druids are the darlings of nature and have the ability to change in many ways. Top druids can not only turn into giant bears and eagles, but also into dragons. In the forest, the combat effectiveness of druids will be greatly improved. Lin Yu immediately summoned several elf druids to ask. I learned that they can only turn into eagles now. To turn into a giant bear, you must become a king-level professional. As for turning into a giant dragon, you need to be promoted to the holy domain stage. What a pity, I still want to see what the dragons in the extraordinary world look like. Lin Yu shook his head with some regret. Seeing this, several elven druids hurriedly said, "Don't worry, Lord, we will do our best to upgrade our levels and have the ability to transform into dragons as soon as possible." Okay, Lin Yu smiled and nodded to several exquisite elven druids. At this time, he made a very strange discovery. Like all the summon angels, these dark elves summoned by blueprints and dark elves bred by the elven mother tree are his believers as soon as they are born. They have a very close faith connection with him. Unlike the local intelligent creatures, they need to be purified by faith magic before they will believe in him. This puzzled Lin Yu. After all, I have never heard of a soldier being a believer directly after being summoned, and angels are an exception. But he didn't think much about it. This is a good thing. Faith is loyalty, and there is no need to worry about betrayal. Looking around, what caught my eye were long, straight legs, exposed flat belly, snow-white and tender jade arms. It has to be said that the standard equipment of the Dark Elves is simply a uniform temptation. Even those Dark Elf elementalists, the black and gold magic long skirts they wear are bound by belts, outlining their full chests and perfect body curves. The Dark Elves are an intelligent race that knows how to show their charm. Lin Yu stopped to admire for a long time before looking at the last few remaining drawings in his hand. There are 5 in total, all of which are exclusive soldier evolution drawings. These drawings are reserved by Lin Yu for the angels. If there is an angel who uses the drawings to achieve bloodline evolution, he will make a lot of money. While thinking, a figure exuding an elegant and noble temperament walked over from not far away. Chapter 111. The old man was very happy. "Angelia, you're just in time." Lin Yu handed the blueprints in his hand to the 6-winged angel Angelia, and said, "Take a look at these evolutionary blueprints. Is there any hope that they can help you and Renee achieve bloodline evolution and become 8-winged angels?" Angelia respectfully took several evolutionary blueprints. "Check them carefully." Then she said to Lin Yu, "Reporting to my lord, these are intermediate evolutionary blueprints, which are generally used for arms below the saint level. Once the growth potential exceeds the saint level, the probability of successful evolution will be very low. If there are dozens of such blueprints stacked up, there is a high probability of helping the 6-winged angels achieve evolution." Angelia's meaning is very clear. The number of blueprints is too small. If it is used on her and Renee, it will most likely be wasted. Lin Yu was a little disappointed and asked, "What about the 2-winged angel and the 4-winged angel?" Angelia said, "My lord can reward these evolutionary drawings to the 2-winged angels, or give them to a 4-winged angel for superposition. The probability of evolution is still good. The best place to use the drawings is in the breeding area of the spiritual field. The probability of evolution will be relatively increased." Lin Yu thought about it and said, "Then give it to Elena. She is a 4-winged dark angel. Once she successfully evolves into a 6-winged angel, her faith magic will be even more powerful." "My lord is wise," Angelia complimented and said, "Elena's level is the middle stage of level 9. If she successfully evolves, her level will most likely directly enter the king level, and her combat power will be stronger." "Yeah," Lin Yu nodded slightly. In this way, he has 2 king level 6-winged angels under his command. When Renee steps into the king level, there will be 3 king level 6-winged angels together can kill even extraordinary enemies in seconds. Later, Lin Yu said to the Dark Elf army gathered in the square, "You each form different teams to go out hunting. With the help of the vision of the watchtower, Wild monsters within a radius of 30 kilometers can be easily found. Wait until dusk and return to the territory. Remember to pay attention to safety. Yes, Lord, the Dark Elf army shouted in unison, with a very strong momentum. This regular army summoned by the blueprint has stronger combat effectiveness than the same number of local Dark Elves. In terms of level, they are not bad either. Although there is no king level, all Dark Elves are high-level professionals. The lowest is level 7, and the highest level has reached the late level of level 9, which is only one step away from the king level. The reason why the level is so high is because they are the elite of the Legion system. Just like the 300 goblin soldiers that Lin Yu summoned before, the team not only had goblin warriors, but also goblin warriors and high-level goblin commanders. But compared to those goblin soldiers, the average level of these Dark Elf soldiers in front of them was higher. There was at least a 3-level difference. Soon, the Dark Elf army left the territory one after another and disappeared in the jungle. Angelica said to Lin Yu, "There are many Dark Elves in this legion who have reached the middle and late stages of level 9. When they are promoted to the king level, this legion will burst out with extremely strong combat power." Lin Yu nodded, and then smiled and said, "No matter how strong it is not as strong as the Angel Legion. My lord is wise." Angelica said immediately, "Our angels are a mythical race, and the lower limit of their growth potential is the upper limit of these middle and low-level intelligent races. Some of them may be able to become gods, but they are only a minority after all. But our angels, as long as they reach the 6-wing level, they are all gods. The highest, the 18-winged archangel, is a god king level existence, second only to the Supreme Holy Lord." As she spoke, Angelica lowered her head towards Lin Yu with a solemn expression. Lin Yu asked curiously, "What level is the god king?" Angelica explained, "My lord, after a creature has gone through a series of god-making processes such as igniting the divine fire, condensing the divine nature, and opening up the kingdom of God, it can become an immortal true god. The realm of true god also has different levels: lower gods with weak divine power, middle gods with medium divine power, upper gods with strong divine power, main gods with great divine power, and god kings who master supreme divine power. God king is the king of gods. The 18-winged archangel is a god king. The archangel is at this level." After a pause, Angelica said, "The creator of the elves is the goddess of nature and elf, who is also a god king and in charge of the natural divine domain." Lin Yu took a deep breath. He finally understood how strong the angels were. "I don't know when I can summon the 18-winged archangel. The fastest, I'm afraid, we'll have to wait until we enter the battlefield of the 10,000 worlds, according to the summoning ratio scheme given by 10,000 Worlds Floating Island. He needs to have an army of 500 million angels under his command to summon an 18-winged archangel. For him now, this is a distant goal." Angelica said to Lin Yu with a smile, "My lord, don't worry, what is coming will always come." "Angelica, you are right." Lin Yu smiled and nodded, saying, "As long as I keep developing, one day I will be able to summon the 18-winged archangel." After saying that, he turned and walked into the Lord's Hall. Angelica followed behind him slowly and gracefully. In the blink of an eye, my gold coins have exceeded 20,000 again. Lin Yu glanced at his gold coin reserves. Previously, upgrading the elf mother tree cost a total of 15,000 gold coins. The gold coin reserves were less than 10,000. Now, the number of gold coins has soared to more than 24,000. This is because the more than 70 pieces of equipment he put on the shelf are being bought by professionals one after another. Those equipment were basically exploded on the battlefield of the Boneyard, and the levels were not low. Each piece could be sold for hundreds of gold coins. Wait until all the equipment is sold. He can earn about 20,000 to 30,000 gold coins. Summon 2 full-scale angel teams first, gather 20 angel teams and summon the second 6-winged angel, save the rest of the gold coins. After all the equipment is sold, collect 30,000 gold coins, upgrade the elf mother tree to level 4, and continue to increase the number of dark elves bred. Thinking of this, Lin Yu immediately communicated with Floating Island of 10,000 Worlds, and started to summon the black hole. With a disappearance of a full 5,400 gold coins, a group of holy figures flew out of the black hole. The 2 4-winged angels led the way, followed by 100 2-winged angels. So far, the number of angels under Lin Yu's command has exceeded 1,000. Then, Lin Yu consumed another 1,000 gold coins and began to summon 6-winged angels. After a while, a little starlight emerged from the black hole. However, What surprised Lin Yu was that this starlight was not white, but blood red. And instead of emitting a sacred and bright aura, it gave him an extremely evil feeling. Awareness. Angels, shouldn't they all be decent characters? Just when Lin Yu was confused, the blood-red starlight had turned into a tall figure and flew out of the black hole. The moment he saw the figure, Lin Yu opened his mouth instantly. Because the one who appeared in front of him was an angel with a body of nearly 7 meters, wearing blood-red armor, holding a blood-dripping sword, and 3 pairs of dark wings behind her. Even her pupils were blood-red. There was a strong blood light flashing in her eyes. Lin Yu took a breath and secretly said that he was lucky. The one summoned this time must be a special angel different from the orthodox angel faction. Chapter 112. The reason is that the enemy is not as powerful as the enemy. There is an explanation in the summoning information of the territory-specific arms. When summoning 6-winged angels and higher-ranked angels, there is a certain probability of summoning special angels that do not belong to the orthodox faction. And upgrading the territory can also increase the probability of summoning special angels. The 6-winged angel in front of Lin Yu is obviously not an angel from the orthodox faction. After all, her body is about 7 meters tall. More than 2 meters taller than Skeleton King Ryan. It's simply a supergiant angel. The most important thing is that there is no trace of holiness and light in her body, only endless evil. Her pupils, armor, and angel sword are all blood red. It's like blood condensed. The angel wings behind her were even darker, as if they were stained with ink. If you look at her appearance alone, you can even regard her as an evil creature. Just as Lin Yu was thinking, the evil angel had already walked towards him. She had an angelic face and a perfectly proportioned figure. But at the same time, she had a devilish look. If the 3 pairs of black wings behind her turned into the legendary devil wings, it would be even more like it. Praise you, the Most High. Coming closer, the evil angel knelt on one knee in front of Lin Yu. Her body was as tall as 7 meters, so even in a kneeling position, she was taller than Lin Yu's head. When looking at her, Lin Yu even had to raise his perspective. And this kneeling etiquette was different from that of the orthodox angels. When the orthodox angels saluted Lin Yu, they crossed their hands and placed them on their chests, with their heads slightly lowered, giving people a sacred feeling. But she knelt on one knee. Her right hand tightly grasped the hilt of the bloody sword, with the tip of the sword resting on the ground. It felt like a warrior who had just returned from the battlefield, offering loyalty to the emperor. The bloody sword in her hand was also ridiculously large. It was taller than Lin Yu. The width was at least 60 or 70 centimeters. If she slashed it with the sword, let alone cutting the enemy in half, she might just smash him into pulp. The evil angel bowed his head to Lin Yu and said respectfully, "Thank you, merciful Lord, for saving me from hell. I will swear to be loyal to you until eternity." Lin Yu was silent and puzzled. He didn't understand what this special angel meant. At this moment, the 6-winged angel Angelia standing behind him narrowed her golden eyes slightly, and her eyes fell on the evil angel. Her eyes were cold. And there was a hint of dissatisfaction. She suspected that it was that guy who was taking revenge on her. Otherwise, how could these fallen creatures escape from hell? Here, Lin Yu opened the information panel of the evil angel. He was very curious about what kind of special angel this was. She actually needed to be rescued from hell. 6-winged fallen angel, initial level, king level, growth potential, lower true god, possessed combat skills, dark sword, blood shackles, hell devouring, introduction, fallen 6-winged angels, the coldest killing machines on the battlefield. To some extent, they are more evil than demons. But there is no doubt about their loyalty, they are dead soldiers loyal to the Supreme. Lin Yu took a breath. No wonder this angel exudes an evil aura. Without any sacred and bright magic fluctuations. It turns out that she is a fallen angel. Lin Yu turned his head and looked at the 6-winged angel Angelia standing quietly on the side. "Are fallen angels also a type of special angel? Report to my lord." Angelia shook her head and said, "All angels are holy creatures, whether they are orthodox angels or special angels, except for fallen angels. Fallen angels are betrayers of faith, their souls have fallen into hell, and their hearts are tainted by evil. They no longer belong to the angel family." Hearing Angelia's words, the 6-winged fallen angel kneeling in front of Lin Yu trembled slightly. Her head was buried deep in her chest. No words, no rebuttal. Lin Yu was even more confused, and said to himself, "Since they don't belong to the angel family, why can I summon them?" Hearing this, Angelia's eyebrows jumped slightly. Golden eyes, the light was filled with anger. It's all the damn guy's fault. At this time, the six-winged fallen angel who knelt on one knee in front of Lin Yu said, "Holy Lord, it was your thoughts that communicated with the sealed hell and finally summoned me. In addition, we do not agree with Angelica's words. We fallen angels have never been traitors of faith. We fell into hell because of the hatred from the Orthodox angel camp. From beginning to end, we fallen angels are loyal to you, the Supreme Creator. Your divine domain should have a place for us fallen angels to survive." After listening, Lin Yu looked at Angelica on the side again. "I feel that she is telling the truth. What do you think?" Angelica's expression froze slightly. Then she quickly returned to normal and said respectfully, "Everything is subject to your will." Lin Yu frowned. "Follow his will? What the hell is this?" He just wanted to confirm with Angelica whether what the fallen angel said, the fallen angels were imprisoned in hell because of the hatred from the Orthodox angels, was true. As a result, Angelica's answer was somewhat irrelevant. But Lin Yu didn't think much about it. Even if there was really hatred between the fallen angels and the Orthodox angels, it was a matter of the previous life. Just get along well in this life. And even if they can't love each other, as long as they don't fight each other. The most important thing is, for Lin Yu, no matter whether she is an Orthodox angel or a fallen angel, as long as she is loyal to him, she is a good angel. As a lord, he is not qualified. Lin Yu looked at the tall fallen angel in front of him and asked, "Do you have a name?" The fallen angel said respectfully, "My lord, my name is Gladys." "Very good." Lin Yu was very satisfied that this was an angel with a name. He said, "Gladys, from now on, you are the second angel army, my lord." At this time, Angelica on the side seemed to be frightened. The cold voice was raised by 8 degrees. She hurriedly said, "The fallen angel controls the power of hell and is not suitable to lead the angel army." "My lord, think twice." Gladys, who knelt on one knee, also said, "My lord, the power of hell and the power of the gods will conflict and cannot be integrated in the same army. In that case, forget it." Lin Yu said to Gladys, "When there is no war, you can hunt on your own and don't have to go with the angel army." "Praise you, the Supreme Creator," Gladys responded with great gratitude. Lin Yu nodded slightly and said, "You go down first." "Yes, sir." The fallen angel Gladys retreated respectfully. Her 7-meter-tall back looked like a female warrior in blood armor. She strode out of the Lord's Hall, and all the Orthodox angels summoned before her made way. However, when their eyes fell on Gladys, their eyes did not seem friendly. Lin Yu also noticed this scene. He said to Angelica on the side, "Angelica, although Gladys is a fallen angel, I still hope that the angels of your Orthodox faction can coexist peacefully with her and not exclude her. Everything is subject to your will." Angelica saluted respectfully. Then, she also left the Lord's Hall. 2 fully staffed angel teams followed behind her, soaring into the sky in unison and disappearing into the distant jungle. Soon after, 2 figures met in the jungle. One is the elegant and noble 6-winged angel Angelia. The other is the 6-winged fallen angel Gladys, who exudes the breath of hell. "How did you escape?" Angelia asked expressionlessly. Gladys said, "It was the will of the Creator that summoned me out." Angelia said coldly, "Do you need me to ask again?" Gladys was silent for a moment, then lowered her head slightly and said, "An unknown force broke through the seal of hell, and we are reborn. It's that guy." Angelia gritted her teeth and asked, "Where is she?" "Is she dead?" Gladys said solemnly, "Your Majesty is eternal and is waiting for the call of our Lord." Damn it, Angelia was angry. No longer paying attention to Gladys, her elegant figure floated away. As for the fallen angel Gladys, she breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 113. The sky was full of blood, and the sky was full of blood. In the dense jungle, a huge blood shadow was madly slaughtering wild monsters in the forest. The originally ferocious wild wolves, demon bears, giant pythons and other monsters all fled to the depths of the dense forest like frightened birds. They were scared out of their wits. They didn't dare to besiege the blood shadow at all. They were all running for their lives. However, no matter how fast they couldn't be faster than the bloody figure. I saw a flash of blood all over the sky. The wild monsters fell in a pool of blood one after another. The most terrifying thing is, after being killed, the blood and even the souls in their bodies seemed to be drawn towards the blood-colored sword in the hands of the blood shadow. In the blink of an eye, the bodies of the wild monsters turned into mummies. Fresh blood and souls, as delicious as ever, the blood shadow stood on the air, and the 6 black wings behind her fully spread out, making her already huge body more majestic and full of endless oppression. She is the 6-winged fallen angel Gladys. On her exquisite and perfect cheeks, there is a clear expression of comfort. Especially when devouring the blood and souls of those wild monsters, she even stretched out her bright red tongue to lick the corners of her mouth, and her blood-colored eyes were full of excitement. Just like Angelica said, the soul of the fallen angel has long been infected by evil. It is also like the information labeling of the fallen angels by the floating island of all worlds. To some extent, the fallen angels are more evil than the devils. The actual situation is indeed so. Fallen angels are the coldest killing machines on the battlefield. When dealing with enemies, they never purify or redeem them like the angels of the Orthodox faction. They only use killing to solve the problem. And it is not just a simple killing. They will devour the blood and soul of the enemy completely. Devouring the blood and soul of the enemy is the hobby of fallen angels. At the same time, this can also help them grow quickly. Unfortunately, these are all low-level creatures. The power contained in blood and soul is too weak. I really hope to enter the battlefield of all realms as soon as possible, which is the paradise of our fallen angels. When His Majesty comes, our fallen angel camp will surely revive the blood flag, sweep across the 4 directions, but now, I have to recover my strength as soon as possible. While talking to herself, the fallen angel Gladys began to clean up the wild monsters in the jungle again. She is very obsessed with killing. Anything that could move, whether it was a wild monster or an ordinary small animal, was killed by her. No one survived wherever she passed. And all that was left were mummies. It would be no problem to make them into specimens. In the midst of the killing, a large team suddenly appeared in front of the fallen angel Gladys. For a moment, both sides stopped. One stood on the air, holding a bloody sword, and slightly narrowed his blood-red eyes. The team on the opposite side was so scared that they dared not move. The believers of the Creator, highly intelligent creatures in the middle and low planes, what a pity. The expression on Gladys' beautiful face clearly showed a hint of disappointment. Then, she shook the 3 pairs of black wings behind her, turned into a bloody light and disappeared in the jungle. Only a cold whisper floated in the void. Weak believers and angels of the Orthodox faction are all incapable of helping the Supreme Creator conquer the universe. Only we fallen angels can do it. Is the one who just flew away the legendary demon? Definitely not. Demons have long been expelled from this world. Even those devils hiding in the darkness are just servants of demons. Then what is she? She is probably an angel, but aren't the angels of the Lord of Light all holy creatures, possessing the power of holiness and light? The one just now was obviously an evil creature, more evil and brutal than the human-faced spiders and cyclops in the underground world. Just a breath it exudes makes me feel scared. The dark elves in the team talked about it. All of them showed horror, including the dark elf leader Doris, and the elf elder Carol. They are king-level powerhouses. The 6-winged fallen angel Gladys is also king-level. But when facing Gladys, they felt a fear as if the god of death had come. Elf elder Carol took a deep breath and said, "Fortunately, the Lord of Holy Light did not send this black-winged angel to our tribe, otherwise, we might not even have the chance to embrace the light. The Lord is merciful." Doris also felt very fortunate. Looking at the twisted monster mummies scattered in the jungle, you can see how evil the black-winged angel was just now. Doris felt cold all over when she thought that she appeared in her tribe. Fortunately, it was the holy angel who came. "Let's go. We will soon reach the territory of the Lord of Holy Light. Don't worry about the black-winged angel just now. She is a believer of the Lord of Holy Light like us and will not attack us. The chief is wise." The mighty dark elf team set off again. On the way, they met one dark elf team after another hunting wild monsters. This surprised the tribal elves, because those dark elf teams obviously did not belong to their tribe. Could there be other dark elves in the territory of the Lord of Holy Light? We'll know when we get there. Doris quickened her pace. She couldn't wait to meet the great Lord of Holy Light. Half an hour later, the dark elves finally arrived at Lin Yu's territory. At first glance, the territory was covered with white bones, and the terrifying scene was almost the same as the boneyard. The difference was that the bones on the ground did not emit the breath of death or even the breath of the undead. It was obviously purified. At the end of the bone area, there was a tall city wall with wooden arrow towers standing on it. Beyond the city wall, many buildings could be seen. However, what attracted their attention the most was an ancient tree located in the center of the territory. It was an ancient tree more than 100 meters tall. The tree is lush and leafy, and the crown is like a huge canopy. There is a surging breath of life emanating from the ancient tree. When they saw this ancient tree, Doris, the great elder of the elves Carol, and the thousands of dark elves following them were all stunned. Holy light! Isn't that the dark elf mother tree? And they can be sure that it is the dark elf mother tree of their tribe. Because they can feel that they have a subtle connection with this dark elf mother tree. Very kind, just like their mother. Chief, is that the mother? It must be. Doris was excited. The delicate body under the black veil trembled uncontrollably. Doris said excitedly, the great Lord of Holy Light has resurrected the mother, praise the Holy Light. At this moment, all the dark elves cheered. A moment later, thousands of dark elves poured into Lin Yu's territory. Chapter 114. The price of the new equipment is still high. Lin Yu is currently browsing the island trading platform. As he browses, his gold coin reserves are increasing. This is because the equipment he has put on the shelf is constantly being bought. More than 70 pieces of equipment, all of which are medium and high-level equipment. Although most of them are ordinary equipment, the level is there, enough to sell at a high price. When the remaining equipment is all sold, Lin Yu's gold coin reserves have reached more than 30,000. To be precise, it is 37,469 gold coins. This amount of gold coins is enough to upgrade the level of the Dark Elf Mother Tree to level 4. Without hesitation, Lin Yu immediately walked out of the Lord Hall and prepared to upgrade the Dark Elf Mother Tree. But at this moment, a large group of Dark Elves poured into his territory. Led by Doris and Carol, followed by more than 30 level 9 Dark Elves, and thousands of ordinary Dark Elves behind them. Basically all of them were fully armed. Except for the small Dark Elves who were as young as porcelain dolls. Many Dark Elves were carrying the corpses of wild monsters on their backs, which they must have brought back from hunting in the outside world. Are they the Dark Elves in the underground world? Lin Yu looked up and was secretly surprised. Because the lineup of this team is huge. At a glance, it was full of dense black phantoms. Looking down, there were long white legs. The total number of elves is more than 6,000. You must know that before the capture of the Dark Elf tribe, all its subjects added up to only more than 3,000, and that included angels. But now, it has skyrocketed to about 10,000. This is a huge increase. The most intuitive thing is the sudden increase in the prosperity of the territory. The addition of more than 6,000 Dark Elves alone can meet the prosperity requirements for the territory to be upgraded to a town. If the hundreds of territory buildings upgraded before are added, the prosperity of his territory will be even more amazing, and the value will be at least increased to more than 20,000. Greetings to the great Lord of Holy Light. Your favor is the glory of our Dark Elf tribe, led by Doris. Thousands of Dark Elves knelt down densely in front of Lin Yu. Facing the God of Faith, ordinary believers have a different way of saluting. The Dark Elves kneel directly on their knees, with their hands stacked on the ground in parallel, and their heads pressed against the backs of their hands. Similar to prostrating. This is the highest respect for the God of Faith. Lin Yu smiled and nodded. Get up, praise you, great Lord of Holy Light. The elves then stood up one after another. Standing in the front were Doris and other powerful elves, all looking at Lin Yu with great enthusiasm. As a believer, it was very exciting to be able to see the God of Faith. Lin Yu's eyes also fell on Doris. This was a dark elf with a charming aura all over her body. Whether it was her appearance or her figure, she was very outstanding among the dark elves. Coupled with her sexy clothes and stunning heavy makeup, she was even more charming. What's your name? Reporting to my lord, Doris immediately replied, I am Doris, the leader of the Dark Elf tribe, and this is our tribe's great elder Carol, tribal elder Bev. Doris briefly introduced several high-level people in their tribe to Lin Yu. Except for her and Carol, who were king-level strongmen. Those introduced were all 8th-level 9th-level professionals. The strength of the Dark Elf tribe is still very strong. At least, it is more than one level stronger than the Goblin tribe and Greyland Dwarf tribe. At this stage, except for Lin Yu, basically no lord professional can capture such a local power base, not even the village chief of Phoenix Village. This is not to underestimate others, but the fact. Doris's strength alone is enough to sweep the armies of those lord professionals. After all, she is in the late king level. Lin Yu smiled and said to Doris and other dark elves, welcome to join my territory. I hope that each of you can become a god on the future and follow me to fight in the battlefield of the world. All the Dark Elves said excitedly. It is an honor for us Dark Elves to serve the Lord of Holy Light. Very good, Lin Yu nodding with satisfaction. He added, next, your main daily task is to gather in a team to hunt wild monsters. This is not only for my service, but also for your own benefit. We understand. Doris and others expressed their understanding. Killing monsters can gain source energy and upgrade levels. They have already experienced this benefit. Lin Yu looked at the sexy and charming dark elf Doris again and said, it's still a while before dark, so you can form a team to go out hunting. But remember to come back before dark, the night of the surface world is full of dangers. I obey. Doris hurriedly obeyed respectfully. At this time, Doris carefully raised her head, looked at Lin Yu and asked, Great Lord of Holy Light, is the Dark Elf Mother Tree in your territory our mother? The other Dark Elves also looked at Lin Yu expectantly. Although they could sense that they had some connection with the Dark Elf Mother Tree. But they still needed to confirm it. After all, there are many Dark Elf Mother Trees, but there is only one mother. Lin Yu did not answer immediately. Instead, he looked at the Dark Elf Mother Tree that was more than 100 meters high not far away. It seemed to be responding to him. The crown of the Elf Mother Tree swayed gently. Countless branches and green leaves moved without wind. The power of life was surging. Lin Yu understood and said to Doris with a smile, yes, it is the Elf Mother Tree of your tribe. I gave it a chance to be reborn. This is the truth. If he doesn't give it a chance, this Elf Mother Tree will always be just a blueprint. Praise you, the great Lord of Holy Light. Thank you for your kindness and favor. Upon hearing this, the Dark Elves were immediately excited. The mother is really resurrected. This is a news worth celebrating for them. Okay, go to work. Lin Yu waved his hand. Seeing this, the Dark Elves immediately retreated with some disappointment. They still wanted to stay with the great Lord of Light for a while longer. Under Lin Yu's gaze, the Dark Elves quickly completed the division and team formation. Originally, the Dark Elf tribe had a legion system. Now it is also very simple and quick to divide into Dark Elf teams. Soon, one after another Dark Elf teams left the territory in batches. Among them were Doris and Carol. They also led a team out. Now, they are no longer the tribe's patriarch and elder. As the people of the territory, they naturally have to contribute their own strength to the development of Lin Yu's territory. After the Dark Elves left, Lin Yu also opened the upgrade option of Dark Elf Mother Tree. At the cost of paying 30,000 gold coins, the Dark Elf Mother Tree was successfully upgraded to level 4, top level troop building, Dark Elf Mother Tree, level 4, can breed troop, Dark Elf, number of troop that can be bred every day. 500, next level 5 troop building, upgrade requirement. 50,000 gold coins, introduction, level 4 Elf Mother Tree can breed 500 Dark Elves every day, and the tree height has grown to nearly 200 meters, which is a veritable giant tree. Doris, Carol and other tribal elves who just walked out of the territory not far away seeing the Elf Mother Tree that suddenly thrived in the back, they all looked dazed. They didn't understand why their mother suddenly changed drastically. But thinking about it, this must be a good thing. Thousands of Dark Elves once again praised the Lord of Holy Light. Chapter 115. The new tree is full of trees, and the trees are full of trees. 500 Dark Elves are bred every day. If it is changed to the summoning price of top-level soldiers, it will be 25,000 gold coins. It only takes today and tomorrow, just 2 days, and my investment can be recovered. All the Dark Elves bred later are earned. Lin Yu looked at the 200-meter-high Dark Elf Mother Tree in front of him. He was in a very good mood. For him, the appearance of the Elf Mother Tree was an unexpected surprise. He only needed to make an investment in the early stage, and he could have a steady stream of Dark Elves in the later stage. Although Dark Elves are not as good as angels, they are still a highly intelligent race and a top-level soldier. Breeding a small top-level soldier legion in 1 day, where can you find such a good thing? This investment is obviously very cost-effective. After upgrading the Elf Mother Tree, I still have more than 7,000 gold coins left. I can summon 2 more angel teams. Thinking of this, Lin Yu immediately returned to the Lord's Hall and summoned 2 angel teams. So far, he has 22 fully staffed angel teams under his command. He only needs to expand to 8 more angel teams, and he can summon another 6-winged angel. And the goal of summoning an 8-winged angel seems to be no longer far away. At the same time, the World Chat channel is also very lively. Countless professionals are discussing Lin Yu. The reason is very simple. They found that Lin Yu's honor value has skyrocketed. On the honor contribution list, Lin Yu's honor value was 800 points before, and now it has jumped to 1,800 points, more than doubling. This shocked almost all professionals. As we all know, it is very difficult to obtain honor value. There are tens of millions of professionals, thousands of Lord professionals whose numbers are not fully counted, but only 2 people made it to the glory contribution list. It can be seen how difficult it is to obtain glory points. The most important thing is, Lin Yu not only ranks first on the list, but his glory points are also 9 times that of the second-place Phoenix Village Chief Sikun-jun. This gap is very large. It also makes countless professionals feel unbelievable. Chat channel on the island, even God is curious about what happened. Why did Master Lin Yu's glory points suddenly soar by a full 1,000 points? Who knows the secret? Is it because Lin Yu's territory has been upgraded to the level of a small town, and the floating island directly rewards it? There is this possibility, but it is not high. After all, no matter how fast Lin Yu develops, it is impossible for him to have a small town level territory now. Besides, for such a major event, how can the floating island not have a world announcement? That makes sense. According to my guess, Master Lin Yu must have captured a very powerful local stronghold and opened a large amount of honor value from the stronghold treasure chest. Excuse me, what is a stronghold treasure chest? Stronghold treasure chests are exclusive to lords. And humble combat professionals are not qualified to ask more questions. The above. Don't despise the poor young. Combat professionals can also change their fate. Change your name. You don't even have the surname Zio. By the way, what kind of local power stronghold can give so many honor value rewards? I don't know. But it is definitely guarded by a king-level strong man. Hiss. Is Master Lin Yu's army so powerful that it can even defeat the local king-level strong man? Probably yes, because just now, Lin Yu also put a batch of medium and high-level equipment on the shelves. Obviously, those equipment are all from the same war. Damn it. Lin Yu is developing so fast. Why are we, the Lord professionals, still competing with him for the island owner? We can just form a group to grow rice. You don't have to grow rice. Raising pigs is also promising. It's not just the island chat channel that is hotly discussed. There are also a large number of professionals discussing this matter in the alliance channels of major alliances. The turmoil caused by the 1,000 points of honor value is no less than the world announcement that appeared before, because the inferred truth makes all professionals feel incredible. While most people are still trying to become intermediate professionals, Lin Yu's army has already captured the local stronghold guarded by the king-level strongmen. For every professional, it all seems like a fairy tale. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yu's honor value on the list really skyrocketed by 1,000 points, they would never have believed it was true. Compared to Lin Yu now, they are just playing in the mud. At this moment, a certain major alliance channel gathered the leaders of one professional alliance after another. The leader of Midsummer Night, Xia Kengayu, the leader of Hall of Kings, the Golden Behemoth Lord, and the leader of Bohemia Alliance, etc., are basically all in it. Brothers and sisters, it seems that we must be strong. It's a bit difficult. Lin Yu's development speed is too fast. What are you afraid of? We have the support of the alliance. Are you afraid that we can't beat him alone? Don't be too confident. With Lin Yu's popularity and prestige on the island, he only needs to wave his arm and countless professionals will follow him. Compared with Lin Yu, we are too far behind. Xia Kengayu, you are boosting others' morale and destroying your own prestige. I didn't deliberately praise Lin Yu, because I was telling the truth. In addition, powerful Golden Behemoth Lord, your alliance has not yet disbanded. Damn it. Xia, you'd better not fall into my hands. Such threats are meaningless. Whenever a territory challenge blueprint is revealed, I really want to see whether your Golden Behemoth is unparalleled in combat power or my Frost Dragon is better. Calm down, we are all one family. By the way, what is a territory challenge blueprint? This is a war blueprint that allows 2 distant territories to fight each other in the air. In the battle of territories, the winner is the king and the loser loses everything. Does that mean that we can kill Lin Yu in advance with this blueprint? You challenge Lin Yu. Hiss. Just pretend I didn't say that. Try to get Sikun-jun in. Although he is not a leader of the alliance, he is also qualified to join us. With Sikun-jun here, we will have a greater chance of defeating Lin Yu in the future. Good idea. Lin Yu didn't know that he had been targeted by one alliance leader after another. They regarded him as their biggest competitor. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care too much. The speed of his territory development has far surpassed any lord professional, including the top lords. The battle for the floating island has not yet begun. He has enough time to realize his plan to sweep the world. The night fell silently. Full-scale angel teams, fully armed dark elf teams, goblin legions, and grey dwarf teams all returned to the territory. In the blink of an eye, the empty territory became a sea of people. At a glance, there were dense figures. The angel army was still paying attention, and the holy light emanating from their wings dispelled all the darkness in the territory. The dark elf army was the largest. They gathered on the other side of the square, more than 6 times the number of the angels, but they did not dare to approach the holy and noble angels. Especially the tall black-winged angel who looked like a female killer. They stayed far away. And not only the dark elves, even the angels of the Orthodox faction were unwilling to approach Gladys, a fallen angel. Gladys said she didn't care about this. She also had no good feelings for the angels of the Orthodox faction. In the entire territory, she was the only fallen angel, but she had to face more than 1,000 holy angels, but she was fearless because she had the favor of the Creator. What she had to do now was to restore her strength. Then she silently waited for the other fallen angels to be summoned by the Creator. It should be soon. When I left, Your Majesty was already preparing. In a corner of the square, the fallen angel Gladys stood proudly, with a blood-red sword inserted between the 3 pairs of black wings behind her, exuding an extremely evil aura. She ignored the angels and dark elves nearby, and only cast her eyes on Lin Yu from time to time. And every time her eyes met with her figure, a hint of fanaticism and reverence would appear on her cold and beautiful face. The Creator did not spit on them, the fallen angels. This is news that is enough to make all the fallen angels excited and cheer. Your Majesty's persistent waiting for tens of millions of years is finally worth it. With the Creator's favor, even if the 4 archangels gather together, they can no longer exile us fallen angels to hell again. This will definitely be an era for us fallen angels. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116. The harvest was so good that the harvest was so great. My lord, this is the harvest from the afternoon hunt. The 4-winged dark angel Eleanor handed a pile of spoils to Lin Yu. There were only more than 3,000 gold coins. There were only a dozen pieces of equipment. As for the blueprints, there was not a single one. It seemed to be very little, but in fact it was a great harvest. After all, only the Goblin Corps and the Grey Dwarf Corps completed a day's hunt. As for the Angel Corps and the Dark Elf Corps, they returned to their territory after only hunting for more than 3 hours. Lin Yu first checked the information of the equipment and found that they were all ordinary equipment, so he put them all on the island trading platform. More than 3,700 gold coins, plus the nearly 2,000 gold coins I had left from summoning angels before. I can summon 2 more fully staffed angel teams. Lin Yu was very happy and immediately opened a black hole to summon 2 angel teams. So far, he has 24 reorganized angel teams under his command. The total number of angels has reached more than 1,200. After that, Lin Yu summoned the dark elf leader Doris. Holy Lord, what do you want? Doris was very excited to receive Lin Yu's call. She trotted all the way over. 2 slender and straight white legs emerged from under the translucent black tulle skirt, full of charm. Lin Yu tried his best to move his eyes upwards. What he saw was a flat, snow-white waist and a plump and high chest. Further up, Doris's delicate cheeks. Although it was heavily made up, it was not offensive, but more beautiful and charming. Lin Yu suddenly felt a little restless in his lower abdomen. When facing the holy angel, he could sometimes hold back. But when facing the dark elf in front of him, he could not control the deep desire to inherit his bloodline. These dark elves know how to show their advantages. Of course, they are not naturally promiscuous. It is purely a manifestation of their own charm. This kind of charm is also more attractive. Lin Yu forced himself to calm down and asked Doris, "How many elf blacksmiths are there in your tribe?" Doris seemed to have noticed something. Her heart was slightly shaken. Although there was nothing unusual on her face, her elf's iconic pointed ears were flushed. She didn't dare to think too much, and quickly replied, "Reporting to the Lord of Holy Light, There are a total of 13 elven blacksmiths in our tribe. 2 of them are senior blacksmiths, and the rest are intermediate and low-level blacksmiths. In addition, there are more than a dozen blacksmith apprentices. As long as they are given some more time to study, they can all become formal blacksmiths. Very good. Lin Yu was overjoyed, and his attention was also diverted. Including the 3 goblin blacksmiths in the blacksmith shop, there are a total of 16 blacksmiths in his territory. He can now upgrade the blacksmith shop to the intermediate level. In this way, the number of equipment produced per day will increase dramatically. Lin Yu immediately said, "Doris, go gather all the blacksmiths and apprentices in your tribe and bring them to the blacksmith shop. I have a task for them." "Yes, great Lord of Holy Light." Doris didn't dare to neglect it and retreated immediately. Lin Yu said to Angelica and the 6-winged angel Rene who were walking towards him, "When the night falls and the undead appear later, you will organize the legions of the territory to go out hunting, and after the night battle is over, you will enter the spiritual field to practice." "Yes, my lord." Angelica and the 6-winged angel Rene obeyed respectfully. Then, Lin Yu took out 5 golden drawings and handed them to the 4-winged dark angel Elena, saying, "This is a very precious evolutionary drawing. After using it, it can help you achieve blood evolution. Praise you, great Lord of Holy Light." The 4-winged dark angel Elena took the evolutionary drawings with excitement and said, "Thank you for your favor to me, I will never let you down." Lin Yu nodded, and then comforted Elena. Evolution may also fail, and the success rate cannot be absolutely guaranteed. You should not have too much psychological pressure, praised the merciful Lord. Elena held the evolutionary drawings tightly in her hand. The Lord is merciful and forgiving. However, she cannot be careless because of this. The Lord of Holy Light has given her such a precious thing. She naturally couldn't let the Lord down, even though the Lord wouldn't blame her for her failure. Then, Lin Yu took Elena out of the territory and into the spiritual field. He looked forward to seeing Elena evolve into a 6-winged angel of energy. "Just adjust and start." "Yes, Lord." Elena took a deep breath. After calming down, she used the 5 army evolution blueprints in her hand together. As the blueprints dissipated, a brilliant golden light suddenly emerged, enveloping Elena's perfect body with a golden ratio. Inside the territory, the 6-winged angel of power, Rene, looked at the 6-winged fallen angel, Gladys, standing at the other end of the square with some horror. Looking around, in the entire territory the 7-meter-tall fallen angel was the most eye-catching, and he exuded an extremely evil aura. Not to mention that the dark elves, goblins, and grey dwarves dared not approach her, even the angels stayed away from her. There was a blank area around the fallen angels. Rene came behind Angelia, lowered her head slightly, and asked in a low voice, "Angelia, how did the Lord of Holy Light summon the fallen angels? Aren't all these fallen people in hell?" Hell is not an adjective, but a real place. In the Lord's domain, the 18-winged dark angels of the Orthodox faction personally built a hell to imprison various evil creatures. The fallen angels are one of them. Angelia said indifferently, "Someone broke through the seal of hell and released the fallen angels. Now, they also have the opportunity to be summoned by the Lord." Hiss. "Who is so bold?" The 6-winged angel Rene suddenly showed a look of horror. Angelica shook her head slightly and said, "It is most likely the world law of the floating island, but whether it is or not remains to be further confirmed in the future." Without waiting for Rene to speak again, Angelica said to her, "Don't ask too much about related matters. You must restrain the angels in the Legion and don't get close to Gladys, so as not to be bewitched by her." "Understood." The 6-winged angel Rene nodded solemnly. If the angels of the Orthodox faction are the bright side of the Lord's domain, then the fallen angels are the dark side. If you are too close to the darkness, there is a certain probability that the light will be infected. This is also one of the reasons why the fallen angels were exiled to hell. As time passed, the brilliant golden light has turned into an elliptical ball of light, wrapping Elena. I don't know how long it took. Finally, a breath emanated from the ball of light. And the energy fluctuations of the breath are also getting stronger. When this breath reached its peak, the light ball began to vibrate, crack, and completely disintegrate. In an instant, a beautiful figure appeared in Lin Yu's vision. She wore a white and gold magic dress and held a sacred staff. A belt outlined her perfect figure. The temperament was noble and holy. Behind the figure, there were 3 pairs of exaggeratedly large white wings. Each feather was blooming with endless holy light. It was like a stream of light pouring towards the surrounding space, beautiful beyond words. Chapter 117. The old man was so angry that he was about to die. My lord, Eleanor walked towards Lin Yu excitedly. Under the white and gold skirt, her feet were off the ground, stepping on the void. Not stained with a speck of dust. At this moment, her expression was full of excitement. Because, she succeeded. With the help of 5 evolutionary drawings, she perfectly realized the evolution of her bloodline. From a 4-winged dark angel, she evolved into a 6-winged angel. With the improvement of her status, her strength also soared. Originally, her level was the middle stage of the 9th level. After evolving into a 6-winged angel, her level directly broke through and entered the early stage of the king level, becoming the 3rd king level angel under Lin Yu. Of course, Eleanor's successful evolution is inseparable from the help of the spiritual field. A spiritual field that reaches level 4 has a 10% chance of allowing creatures to mutate. Angelia was promoted to a 6-winged angel here before. Very good. Lin Yu witnessed this scene with his own eyes and said with a smile, Eleanor, you really didn't disappoint me. Eleanor hurriedly said, everything comes from the favor of the Lord. Lin Yu nodded and said, now you are a 6-winged angel and can become the commander of an angel army. Later, you will discuss with Renee and each lead a 500-scale angel army. Yes, great Lord of Holy Light. Eleanor was very excited. An angel who doesn't want to be a legion leader is not an ambitious angel. After all, not every angel is called Angelia. Go, return to the territory. Night has completely fallen, and undead creatures are constantly emerging. The war has begun. Yes, my lord. 6-winged angel Eleanor left the spiritual field immediately. Later, Lin Yu checked Eleanor's personal information panel. Eleanor, 6-winged angel, level, early king, growth potential, lower god, possessed combat skills, holy light confinement, faith magic, great healing magic, blessing magic, introduction, a 6-winged angel under the command of the 12-winged angel of wisdom, an orthodox faction of the angel family. In addition to being good at spreading faith and having strong combat power, the 6-winged angel is also a powerful assistant on the battlefield. Sure enough, the growth potential has increased. As long as the number of enemies killed is large enough and strong enough, Eleanor can easily be promoted to the realm of true god, and there will be no realm shackles during the period. Growth potential does not represent the end of the army. Even the double-winged angels with a growth potential of demigods have the opportunity to be promoted to gods. It's just that the difficulty is very high. Once they grow into demigods, double-winged angels can no longer obtain the rewards of source energy by killing enemies, and need to rely on their own abilities to achieve a higher level of breakthrough. Only when the bloodline evolves and the growth potential is improved, they can continue to rely on killing enemies to upgrade. Growth potential means that within the potential, there will be no realm shackles. Level upgrades are unimpeded all the way. In addition, after evolving into a 6-winged angel, Eleanor has 2 more magics. One is the great healing magic, the other is the blessing magic. The former can heal injured friendly units, and the latter can boost the morale of friendly units on the battlefield and enhance the combat effectiveness of friendly units to a certain extent. Not only can it spread faith, it is powerful, and it can also provide battlefield assistance. Angels of magic are really versatile. Compared to war angels, the role of magic angels is obviously greater. No wonder the number is relatively rare. So far, Lin Yu has only 3 magic angels under his command, while there are more than 1,000 war angels. But then again, angels of magic are at least 4-winged dark angels, team captain level. It is normal that there are fewer than war angels. In comparison, command angels are even fewer, because they are at least 6-winged angels. Lin Yu didn't think about it anymore and turned around to leave the breeding area. However, he did not return to the territory, but went to the planting area to take a look at the black-bone blood vine and the unfortunate flower. These 2 demon plants, who were not sure whether they were siblings, were planted in the corner of the planting area. They were less than 30 meters apart. One was madly swallowing, ate the remains of the monster and ate heartily. The other one drooped his head, looking listless. Obviously sensing Lin Yu's breath, the countless thin branches of the black-bone blood vine shook suddenly, with strong emotions and happiness. The flower of misfortune also raised its petal head. The human face in the center of the petals kept crying at Lin Yu. I don't know what it was crying for. However, Lin Yu could guess that it was probably hungry. Especially seeing the black-bone blood vine feasting on the side, but it had nothing to eat. It was even hungrier. You are a bit picky about food, little thing. You need to feed souls to accelerate your growth. I don't know how to collect souls now. I'll ask Angelica and think of a way for you. Lin Yu patted the head of the flower of misfortune. This time, the immortal flower didn't open its mouth to bite him again. Maybe it has understood who is the father in the relationship between the two sides. Wu, the immortal flower, nodded and kept conveying the meaning of baby is very hungry to Lin Yu. Lin Yu ignored it, took a look at her information panel, and went to communicate with a black bone blood vine. At the same time, he also checked the growth information of the black bone blood vine. The growth period of the immortal flower is 100 days. After the reduction of the spiritual field, there are only 60 days left. As for the black bone blood vine, the growth period is even shorter. In another 42 days, it will mature and have the combat power of the king level. Before, I thought your potential for growth at the king level was already very good, but now, you at the king level are no longer worthy of me. Lin Yu patted the thick trunk of the black bone blood vine and said like a scumbag, my territory now has several king levels. In a few dozen days, even the strong men of the holy domain may come out. What use can a small king level demon plant like you have? Hearing this, the black bone blood vine suddenly became anxious. It stretched out its tiny branches and hugged Lin Yu's thighs missionarily. It's no use hugging my thighs, you can only rely on your own efforts. If you can't achieve mutation and evolution, you will still be eliminated sooner or later. At that time, maybe I can only chop you up and use you as firewood. As a demon plant, the black bone blood vine has intelligence. He was immediately frightened and stiffened. The thin branches around the trunk were straightened, just like the hair was blown up. The immortal flower behind him was giggling, mocking the black bone blood vine with low growth potential. Its growth potential is as high as the peak of the holy domain. So there is no worry in this regard. What are you laughing at? Lin Yu glanced at it and said, the angels in my territory have the potential of demigods at least. When I go to the battlefield of the 10,000 worlds in the future, you will stay on the floating island to look after the house for me. Hearing this, the immortal flower stopped laughing immediately. After Lin Yu left, the two demon plants decisively began to work hard. One was constantly absorbing the special energy in the spiritual field space. The other was absorbing the special energy while frantically devouring the remains of the monster. Sure enough, not only failure is the mother of success. Pressure is also the old mother of motivation. Chapter 118. The battle was over, and the battle was over. When Lin Yu returned to the territory, the various legions in the territory had already gone out to fight. 24 angel teams, thousands of dark elves, as well as the Goblin Legion and the Grey Dwarf Legion, were all fighting with undead creatures in the wild world. The war had already begun. As the Lord, Lin Yu could always feel the endless flow of source energy into his body. Although the single amount was not much, the total amount was very amazing. With a sudden increase in the size of the Angel Legion, thousands of dark elves have joined. I have the hope of upgrading to another level tonight. Lin Yu is now at the early stage of level 7, and if he upgrades to another level, he will be a level 8 professional. An 8th level professional can also lead a team in a local stronghold like the Greyland Dwarf tribe. According to reliable information, nowadays, the levels of most professionals on the island are still between 2 and 3. Even the lords with top-level troops are basically only around 4 levels. Compared with Lin Yu, their speed is many times slower. Lin Yu has left tens of millions of professionals far behind. If nothing unexpected happens, my level increase speed has broken the record of professionals. What the veteran professionals on other floating islands have not completed will be completed by me. Lin Yu's ultimate plan is to capture the floating island where he is as quickly as possible, and then lead his army of troops to the battlefield of the 10,000 worlds. If possible, he will even occupy other floating islands. After all, no lord will dislike having too many resources. My lord, a beautiful figure appeared in front of Lin Yu and saluted respectfully. Lin Yu asked, why didn't you go hunting with the elf army? This beautiful figure was the elf leader Doris. She explained with some fear, my lord, please forgive me. I just handed the elves I brought from the tribe to my mother and was about to go to the wild world. Hearing this, Lin Yu looked at the dark elf mother tree in the distance. Under the crown of the mother tree, there was a bright ball of light floating. Sometimes, starlight would fly out of the ball of light and merge into the body of the dark elf mother tree. Thinking that, those starlights are elves. All of them are in an unfertilized state. They need the power of the dark elf mother tree to be successfully fertilized. Has the elf blacksmith of your tribe gone to the blacksmith's shop, reporting to the Lord of Holy Light? They have all been taken there. They are waiting for your order in the blacksmith shop. Yes, Lin Yu nodded slightly. His eyes fell on Doris's delicate and beautiful cheeks. He naturally swept across the sexy and charming perfect body of this dark elf. His heart was inevitably agitated again, and he couldn't help but blurt out, "You don't have to go out hunting tonight, just accompany me." Hearing this, Doris's expression was obviously stunned. Then she reacted quickly. The elf's iconic pointed ears quickly flushed. She understood the Lord of Holy Light's meaning. However, she did not refuse, but was looking forward to it. She felt that if she could go one step further and inherit the bloodline of the Lord of Holy Light, it would be a great joy for the entire Dark Elf clan, and she could reach the sky in one step. The sexy and beautiful Dark Elf said quickly. "It is Doris's honor to serve the Lord of Holy Light." "Very good," Lin Yu smiled brightly. Then he turned and went to the blacksmith shop. Doris followed behind with her sexy waist and hips without hesitation. The blacksmith shop was hot. The huge equipment furnace was burning red, and every once in a while, a finished piece of equipment would fly out of the furnace. Old Goblin Devon stood by and explained the relevant knowledge of making equipment to the goblin apprentices. On the other side, dozens of dark elves gathered. Among them, half were formal elf blacksmiths, and even 2 were senior blacksmiths. As for the other half, they were apprentices of elf blacksmiths. The 2 senior elf blacksmiths listened to the equipment knowledge explained by the old Goblin Devon, and occasionally frowned, thinking that the old Goblin Devon was wrong in some aspects. However, they did not stand up to correct the mistakes. In front of the goblins, the Dark Elves, a highly intelligent race, are also arrogant. Unless the old Goblin Devon takes the initiative to ask for advice. Otherwise, they will never lower themselves. At this moment, they saw Lin Yu walking into the blacksmith shop. They were immediately excited. They hurriedly led a group of Dark Elves to greet the great Lord of Holy Light. Lin Yu's eyes fell on the 2 Dark Elves in the lead and said, "Are you 2 the senior blacksmiths of the Dark Elf tribe?" "Yes, Lord of Holy Light." The 2 Dark Elves nodded in unison and took the initiative to introduce themselves to Lin Yu. One of them is called Emma and the other is called Nicole. The Dark Elf named Nicole has more advanced forging skills and is close to being promoted to a master blacksmith. Once she becomes a master blacksmith, she can forge king-level equipment. Lin Yu was very happy and said to the 2 of them, "Your arrival has solved a fundamental problem for my territory." Then, he summoned the old Goblin Devon again. "Duan, you must obey their orders in the future. You are an intermediate blacksmith. If you have any questions, ask Nicole and Emma. I hope you can also grow into a senior blacksmith and make greater contributions to my territory." "Yes, Lord." Old Goblin Devon repeatedly promised that he would learn humbly from the 2 senior elf blacksmiths. "Yes," Lin Yu nodded slightly. Then he walked out of the blacksmith shop with a group of elf blacksmiths and goblin blacksmiths. After everyone came out, Lin Yu clicked on the upgrade option of blacksmith shop and started to upgrade the blacksmith shop. In an instant, the blacksmith shop vibrated. And it became taller, bigger, and more refined at a speed visible to the naked eye. This scene fell into the eyes of a group of dark elves and goblins. It was simply a miracle. They looked at Lin Yu with more fanaticism and respect. Soon, the upgrade was over. The new blacksmith shop turned into a 3-story building, with a thicker chimney on the roof, emitting billowing black smoke. Territory building, blacksmith shop, level, intermediate. Blacksmiths can be equipped. 10 to 20, equipment can be produced daily. 500 to 1,000 pieces, next level, advanced, upgrade requirements. 3,000 units of wood, 2,000 units of stone, 5,000 units of iron ore. Note, the probability of creating top-quality equipment in an intermediate blacksmith shop is 3%. Upgrading the blacksmith shop can increase the probability of producing top-quality equipment. Fortunately, I didn't upgrade it in the past 2 days, otherwise, there would be no way for the 3 goblin blacksmiths to start the intermediate blacksmith shop. It doesn't matter now, there are 16 goblin blacksmiths and elf blacksmiths, enough to make this intermediate blacksmith shop run, and the number of equipment that can be produced every day should be around 900. Lin Yu took a deep breath. 900 pieces of equipment per day, what does this mean? It can be described in one word, getting rich. Then, Lin Yu took out a golden blueprint and gave it to Nicole, saying, "This is the equipment forging blueprint for the dwarf musket. Take it and learn it first. When I need it, you can start forging it." This blueprint was captured when the Grey Land dwarf tribe was captured. However, Lin Yu was not ready to form a dwarf musket corps now. Because the forging of dwarven muskets requires a share of daily equipment, which is hindering his road to wealth. He wants to sell all the 900 pieces of equipment produced daily. Exchange them for gold coins and summon angels. Build a larger angel army. Okay, Lord. Nicole used the blueprint on the spot and mastered the method of forging dwarven musket equipment at the same time. Okay, you can go to work. After that, Lin Yu took Doris out of the blacksmith shop and returned to the bedroom on the second floor of the Lord's Hall. It was late at night, but the Lord's bedroom was brightly lit. Doris is a sexy and enchanting dark elf. She looks like an old driver, but actually knows nothing, and her movements are very unfamiliar at first. But she learns quickly, as if she has a relevant talent. The horn of war has sounded. There are wars both inside and outside the territory. The difference is that the war outside the territory is bloodless, and the undead never make a sound until they die. But the war inside the territory is like blood plum blossoms, gently singing. I don't know how long it took. A short intermission. Lin Yu suddenly appeared on the first floor of the Lord's Hall, and put all the more than 80 pieces of standard equipment handed over from the blacksmith shop on the island trading platform. A total of 11,000 were sold many gold coins. With the help of this gold coin, Lin Yu summoned 4 full-scale angel teams again. So far, the number of angel teams under his command has reached 28. He only needs to add 2 more angel teams to summon another 6-winged angel. After doing all this, Lin Yu returned to the second floor again and continued to explore the beautiful and rich elf forest. Believe that this will be a long night. Chapter 119. The floating island is a very large world. There are vast jungles, vast oceans, endless grasslands and deserts, etc. Although it is called a floating island, it cannot be viewed with a normal worldview, because it is a world of extraordinary power. At this moment, in a desert area, under the cover of darkness, countless undead creatures appeared near a territory. This is just an intermediate village. Therefore, it was not attacked by the undead army. The rule power of the floating island gave the Lord Professional a chance to survive in the early stage. However, this area is not peaceful. War is also breaking out. Hundreds of giant birds were seen flying in the sky. They exuded a dark and evil aura, and black flames were burning on their bodies. The giant birds formed a legion, and sometimes swooped down from the sky, spewing black flames at the undead creatures on the ground. The black flames were not hot. Instead, they were extremely cold. All the undead creatures covered by the black flames turned into lifelike ice sculptures one after another, and even their soul fires were frozen. As gusts of wind swept by pieces of undead ice sculptures fell to the ground and exploded into ice chips. The scene was extremely shocking. However, the undead were not without the ability to resist. Many undead mages and undead hunters could be seen shooting bone spurs and arrows at the giant bird legion in the sky. Most of the giant birds could withstand such attacks. But there were also a few low-level giant birds that sprayed blood on the spot after being shot, wailing and fleeing back to the territory behind. But in general, the giant bird army still has the upper hand. In a short period of time, they slaughtered a large number of undead creatures. Some also upgraded their levels in the battle, and their combat effectiveness became stronger. In the territory behind, a young man in modern clothes stood on a tall arrow tower, looking at the battlefield in the distance. Whenever a giant bird was injured, his heart twitched. After all, being injured means a sharp drop in combat effectiveness. In serious cases, they even need to return to the territory for recuperation and cannot continue to participate in the battle. Fortunately, it's just an injury. No fire phoenix has been killed yet. This is good news, the young man muttered to himself while paying close attention to the battle situation outside. He was ready to recall the fire phoenix army to the territory at any time. This young man, the head of Phoenix Village, Sikun Jun, was the one who attracted the attention of countless professionals because of the Glory Contribution event. Like Lin Yu, he did not establish an alliance. He was a lone lord professional. He was confident that he could lead his Fire Phoenix Corps to sweep away all obstacles until he ascended to the position of Island Master. He did not take the Golden Behemoth Lord seriously at all. The only person he could take seriously was Lin Yu. It is undeniable that Lin Yu is very strong. His army corps could actually capture the native stronghold guarded by the king-level strongmen. Even I can't do this. Sikun Jun's Fire Phoenix Corps is very powerful. It can already achieve hunting battles at night. But it is still difficult to defeat the king-level strongmen. because the level gap is too large. So far, he has nearly 400 fire phoenixes under his command, but the highest level is only the early 8th level, and does not have the ability to challenge the king level strongmen. As for himself, his level is even lower. Barely reached the late stage of level 4. It's hard to imagine what Lin Yu's army is. Based on Lin Yu's development speed, the number of his army is at least 1,000. The strongest army should have entered the king level, otherwise how could he capture such a powerful local stronghold? It seems that if I want to catch up with Lin Yu, I have to work harder. Second-Jun's only thought now is to catch up with or even surpass Lin Yu. Both are lord professionals who fight alone in all directions, and they are also top lords. He doesn't believe that he is much worse than Lin Yu. I don't know what Lin Yu is doing now. If nothing unexpected happens, he is probably like me, commanding the legion to fight against the undead army in the wild world, just as Second-Jun was thinking. A black light suddenly appeared. It was so fast, like lightning. Instantly pierced the head of a giant fire phoenix. The fire phoenix didn't even scream, and fell straight from the sky. It died on the spot. Seeing this scene, Second-Jun's expression changed instantly. It was a late 7th level fire phoenix, the first one he summoned, and he cultivated feelings for it, but now it was killed in front of him. However, before he could think about it, suddenly, another figure appeared in the distance. The figure held a bone staff and wore a rotten magic robe. The head was a skull. This was a skeleton wizard, emitting very powerful magic fluctuations. It waved a bone staff in its hand, and the fire phoenix corpse on the ground was wrapped in a black light, and the flesh and blood quickly rotted and peeled off, and in the blink of an eye it turned into a skeleton. Then, the skeleton fire phoenix actually stood up. It flapped its wings and roared with its head raised. In its eye sockets, there was a ball of green soul fire. It was resurrected as an undead creature. Damn it! It's a king-level skeleton mage. Retreat. All of you retreat. Second-Jun's face changed drastically, and he shouted for the fire phoenix army to retreat to the territory. After receiving the order, the black giant birds in the sky also retreated quickly as soon as possible. But after all, a few black giant birds were slow to escape, and were killed again by the king-level skeleton mage, and then the dead black giant birds were resurrected as skeleton giant birds with undead magic. Second-Jun almost shed tears of heartache after losing 5 fire phoenixes at once. What made him most angry was the king-level skeleton mage actually took the initiative to provoke him. He saw his figure flash, and then appeared on the back of the largest skeleton giant bird, and took several other skeleton giant birds to fly high in the sky, overlooking Second-Jun in the territory. It vibrated its spiritual power and sent a message to Second-Jun. Young lord of the other world, I like your dark fire phoenix very much. They are legendary creatures of the underworld, with extremely strong combat power and talent. I plan to use them to expand a skeleton fire phoenix court to enhance the strength of my territory. So, I hope you can fulfill this little wish of mine. Second-Jun's eyes widened. This greedy king-level skeleton mage, killing 5 of his dark fire phoenixes was not enough. He actually wanted to kill his entire legion? Second-Jun was so angry that he burst into tears, and roared. Skull, don't be so arrogant. When I become powerful, the first king level I will kill is you, arrogant lord of another world. The king-level skeleton mage threatened back on the spot. I will always watch you in the darkness until all your dark fire phoenixes become my skeleton fire phoenixes. After that, the king-level skeleton mage rode a skeleton fire phoenix and flew away. There were 4 more following behind him, full of style. Soon, their figures disappeared into the darkness. However, Second-Jun did not relax his vigilance. Because he knew that the king-level skeleton mage must not have left, but was waiting for his dark fire phoenix to hunt. Being targeted by a local king-level strong man, and a necromancer. This is a very bad thing. Damn it. How could I be so unlucky? Lin Yu must have never encountered such a thing. Just as the snowball of the territory was rolling, a king-level skeleton mage suddenly appeared to block the way and even wanted to hunt his army. Second-Jun was so angry that his heart ached. Chapter 120. After a long time, the night was over. The wonderful night was finally over. Lin Yu stood up and stretched, full of energy. On one side of the quilt, a translucent black gauze wrapped Doris's sexy body. Half covered, very tempting. Her skin was delicate, and there was a hint of red in her whiteness, as if water could drip out. As if she noticed that Lin Yu had woken up, Doris's slender eyelashes trembled slightly, and then raised her eyelids, revealing a pair of dark red eyes like gemstones. In her eyes, there seemed to be a light flickering. When she looked at Lin Yu, her expression was even more intoxicated. Awake, Lin Yu looked down at the charming dark elf beside him and said with a smile, "If you are tired, just sleep a little longer. Thank you for your concern, Lord." "I'm fine." Doris climbed up from the bed and prepared to help Lin Yu get up. The black gauze slid down from her delicate shoulders, revealing her snowy peak. Lin Yu's heart was slightly moved. The sage moment had passed. He felt that he could still fight for 300 rounds. But at this moment, there was a knock on the door. Doris was startled and quickly got back into the quilt, covering herself tightly with only her head exposed. "Come in." At Lin Yu's signal, a tall and beautiful figure walked in from outside the door. It was the six-winged angel Elena. The 3 pairs of snow-white wings behind her had been folded up, but there was still a sacred glow blooming, which set off Elena's beautiful figure even more holy and beautiful. "My lord, this is breakfast for you." While speaking, Elena glanced at the dark elf Doris lying on the bed, and her expression changed slightly. But soon, she returned to normal. Without looking away, she placed a breakfast plate on the table beside her. "I have to mention it. There are still many benefits to upgrading the territory. At least, a set of multifunctional tables and chairs has been added to Lin Yu's bedroom. Whether it is dining or enriching the content of night activities, it is very convenient." Put the breakfast there first. Lin Yu was not shy and stood up from the bed naked. Then he walked into the bathroom next door and threw himself into the big wooden barrel. There is a pull ring next to the wooden barrel. A wooden tube is connected to the other side. Gently pull the pull ring, and hot water will gush out of the wooden tube. The six-winged angel Elena did not leave, but walked into the bathroom together to serve Lin Yu. Seeing this, Doris lying on the bed was somewhat embarrassed. After all, there was an angel. Although she was also a woman, she was still a little embarrassed. It was not right to get up, and it seemed even worse to stay in the quilt. Finally, she gritted her teeth. Just pretend that Elena didn't exist, and quickly got up and put on her clothes. "My lord, I'm going out first. Go." Lin Yu lay on the edge of the wooden barrel and waved his hand. Doris was as if she had been pardoned. After taking a look at Elena's beautiful figure, she hurriedly left the bedroom. After she left, Elena massaged Lin Yu's shoulders and whispered, "Great lord, every holy angel is your servant, and we are willing to serve you." Elena was a little jealous of Doris. Serving the Lord of Holy Light is the responsibility of their angels. How could a dark elf get ahead of them? "Of course I know." Lin Yu smiled and put his arm around Elena's slender waist, pulling her into the wooden barrel filled with hot water. The hot water instantly soaked Elena's platinum magic dress and the 3 pairs of snow-white wings behind her. "In my eyes, you are more important than the dark elves. Thank God for your favor." Elena was very happy and gave Lin Yu a massage. "Come to the first floor." The Lord's Hall was once again piled with various spoils of war. The number is greater than before. Yesterday, the size of the Angel Legion continued to surge, and the territory added thousands of dark elves. Night battles can naturally kill more undead creatures and harvest more spoils of war. Lin Yu roughly counted. First of all, there were more than 13,000 gold coins. Then there were equipment and blueprints, with more than 140 pieces of equipment and 27 blueprints. There were also 2 packages of spiritual rice seeds. This is a huge harvest. It goes without saying that the legions in the territory must have killed a large number of undead creatures. In addition to these spoils of war, Lin Yu's own level was successfully promoted to level 8 as he expected. The promotion time was when Lin Yu was interacting with Doris last night. It was very sudden, and accompanied by the pain of body cells being torn apart, but Lin Yu gritted his teeth and held on. Because the process was quite exciting, it was painful and happy. With these gold coins I harvested, my gold coin reserves have exceeded 20,000 again. The extra gold coins were obtained from the successful auction of top-quality equipment and the sale of blueprints last night. The exact number is 25,900. Lin Yu made a simple calculation. This amount of gold coins can summon a total of 9 full-scale angel teams, and there are still 1,600 gold coins left. The remaining gold coins can be used to summon 6-winged angels. The price of a 6-winged angel is 1,000 gold coins. Without hesitation, Lin Yu immediately communicated with a floating island of 10,000 worlds, and opened a black hole for summoning angels. Soon, a large number of angels flew out of the black hole. There were hundreds of them. For a moment, The entire Lord's Hall was shrouded in divine light. At this time, Lin Yu suddenly showed a hint of joy on his face. Because the 4 winged angels leading the 9 angel teams were not all 4 winged angels of war, and 4 of them were 4 winged archangels. This was a surprise for him. After all, 4 winged archangels were divine angels. Not only were they very powerful in combat, but they were also good at spreading faith. Basically, in a war involving 4 winged archangels, most of the enemies would surrender before they began to resist, except for the undead. The more divine angels there were, the more helpful it was for him to recruit local intelligent creatures as believers. Praise the great Lord of Holy Light. Under the leadership of the 9 4-winged angels, hundreds of angels in the hall saluted Lin Yu in unison, and their golden eyes were filled with enthusiasm and admiration for Lin Yu. Lin Yu nodded slightly and said, "The Holy Light will bless you forever. Thank God for your favor." Lin Yu's brief words made the angels extremely excited. Because for them, the blessing of the Holy Light is more important than life. Go down. Lin Yu ordered the angels to leave the Lord's Hall. Then he took a look at the last 1,600 gold coins left, and communicated with Floating Island of All Worlds, again to recruit his 3rd 6-winged angel. There are currently 4 6-winged angels in his territory, but Angelica and Ilona evolved by themselves, not included in the summoning ratio plan. I wonder what 6-winged angel will be summoned this time. Lin Yu looked at the black hole that appeared in the Lord's Hall with great anticipation. He expected it to be a fallen angel, because the fallen angels have super strong combat power. As 6-winged angels, Gladys's initial level is king level, while the initial level of the 6-winged angel Renee is only level 9, a level difference. This seems to confirm the truth that villains are always stronger than heroes. Soon, starlight appeared in the center of the black hole. When Lin Yu saw the starlight, he was a little disappointed. Just because the starlight was white, not the blood red that represents fallen angels. No matter what, it's a 6-winged angel after all. Lin Yu comforted himself while watching the starlight turn into a tall and beautiful figure and fly out of the black hole. Chapter 121. The angel was so beautiful that he could not see the light of day. What type of angel is this? After seeing the figure flying out of the black hole, Lin Yu's expression turned into confusion. Because this 6-winged angel is a little different. And difference means special. He suspected that this was a special angel. Her clothes were different from those of war angels and divine angels. She was not wearing angel armor or magic dress, but a robe, similar to the bishop's robe of the church. Her slender right hand held a staff. But the shape of the staff was different from that of the divine angel. It was also similar to the religious scepter. In addition, she was wearing a golden crown on her head. The shape was not exaggerated, but simple and exquisite, but it also brought her a noble temperament. Through these differences Lin Yu could confirm that she did not belong to the war faction and the divine magic faction. However, to know what type of angel she was, he still needed to check her personal information. At this moment, the 6-winged angel Elena standing behind him suddenly spoke and whispered to Lin Yu, "My lord, this is a power angel." Hearing this, Lin Yu's face showed surprise. The 6-winged power angel is an angel of the orthodox faction of the angel family. It belongs to the 12-winged seraph. It is a commanding type of angel, which is rarer than the divine magic angel. At this time, the information of the new 6-winged angel also appeared in Lin Yu's field of vision. 6-winged power angel, initial level, late level 9, growth potential, lower true god, possessed combat skills, holy light rain, holy light gate, war shackles. Introduction. 6-winged power angels under the command of the 12-winged seraphim. They are commanders and decision makers on the battlefield. Under their command, the angel army can burst out with more powerful combat power. It is indeed a power angel, and the initial level has reached the late level of the 9th level. Although it is not as good as the fallen angels who are born at the king level, it is also higher than the war-type power angels. Lin Yu remembered that the initial level of the 6-winged power angel Renee was the early level of the 9th level, and did not reach the late level of the 9th level. In addition, the 6-winged power angel has 3 skills. Although there are not many, each skill is very powerful. Holy Light Rain is a large-scale killing skill, killing a large area with one shot. Holy Light Gate is a teleportation skill. Opening the Holy Light Gate can teleport the angel army to the location designated by the 6-winged power angel. This skill is very useful for both retreat and attack. War Shackles is a sealing skill that can seal a battlefield area and trap all enemies on the battlefield. These 3 skills are the main skills of the 6-winged Angel of Power. She also mastered basic abilities such as Holy Light Shield and Angel Holy Flame. In general, the combat effectiveness of the Angel of Power is very strong. She is also worthy of the title of Battlefield Commander. After all, the 3 main skills of the Angel of Power are prepared for Legion Wars. Praise you, Great Lord of Holy Light. The 6-winged Angel of Power, wearing an exquisite crown, came forward and saluted respectfully to Lin Yu, saying, "It is my honor to be summoned by you." Yes, Lin Yu nodded slightly and asked, "What is your name?" The 6-winged Angel of Power lowered his head and said respectfully, "I look forward to being named by the Lord. This is the glory that any angel dreams of, another angel without a name. Unlike the fallen angel Gladys, who came to the world with her own name." Lin Yu thought for a moment and said, "From now on, your name is Pamela. Praise you, my supreme lord." The 6-winged angel Pamela saluted excitedly. Lin Yu smiled and said, "Now there are a total of 37 angel teams in my territory, which can form 3 small-scale angel legions. I will give you the position of the 3rd legion leader." "Yes, Great Lord of Holy Light," Pamela obeyed respectfully. Compared with the position of legion leader, the name given by the Lord made her more excited. Lin Yu nodded and said, "Go, lead your legion to fight. Today's main task is to capture the 2-headed demon tribe located in the wild jungle. You 6-winged angels will discuss the relevant war information." "Yes, I will leave. May the Holy Light always be there, and may the Holy Lord be eternal." The 6-winged angel, Pamela, lowered her head and left the Lord's hall with great respect. Lin Yu said to the 6-winged angel Elena behind him, "You should go too, purify more evil creatures and raise your level. The power of the king level is not enough to help my territory conquer the dark forest." "Yes, my lord," Elena withdrew with a solemn expression. She made up her mind to be promoted to the extraordinary and holy domain as quickly as possible to help the great Lord of Holy Light conquer this jungle. And this will also be the starting point of the revival of the angel family. After all the angels left, Lin Yu also began to deal with other spoils. A total of more than 140 pieces of equipment were all put on the island trading platform. Ordinary equipment for sale. Top equipment auction. He didn't keep any of them. Because the level of these equipment was very low, they were of no use to him. After that, there were more than 20 drawings, all of which were wooden house drawings and arrow tower drawings, which he used one by one and turned into buildings in the territory. So far, the number of wooden houses in his territory has reached more than 600. The number of arrow towers has also exceeded 100. Finally, there are 2 green packages containing spiritual rice seeds left. After opening them, a total of 20 spiritual rice seeds were obtained, which were also planted in the spiritual field by Lin Yu. It is expected that it will take only a little more than 4 days to mature and harvest. 20 spiritual rice seeds. You can harvest 20,000 units of spiritual rice. Counting the 80% increase in the spiritual field, it is 36,000 units. Add the 10 spiritual rice seeds planted before. In other words, Lin Yu will soon harvest 54,000 units of spiritual rice. It seems a lot, but in fact it is only enough for the territory to consume for a few days. Because now, the number of people under his command has exceeded 10,000, and the food consumed every day is a very large number. After thinking for a while, Lin Yu contacted the floating island of 10,000 worlds. Asked what was the fastest way to get the spirit rice seeds. Soon, the mother of the rules of the floating island replied to him, "The fastest way is to exchange in the honor item menu. 10 shares of the 1st level spirit rice seeds only need 10 honor points. Just pretend I didn't ask." Lin Yu rolled his eyes. He couldn't bear to use the precious honor points to exchange for the spirit rice seeds. Now that he had the immortal flower, he even regretted exchanging for the black bone blood vine. Save it all. Wouldn't it be nice to exchange it for the artifact, Curse of the Lich King? Although it is an artifact, it only requires 5,000 honor points. Lin Yu now has 1,500 honor points. He only needs to destroy 7 more local power bases like Bone Burial Ground to exchange for Curse of the Lich King. Before, he felt that he was far away from Curse of the Lich King. But now it seems that it is within reach. Speaking of which, the exchange price of the artifact is so cheap. When the lords grow up and have powerful armies, won't everyone be able to exchange it? Everyone will have a Curse of the Lich King. In addition, the top-level arm drawings are the same. In the item menu, The exchange price of the top-level arm building drawings is 10,000 honor points. Now, those Lord professionals can only watch with envy, but on the later stage, 10,000 honor points do not seem to be difficult to collect. As long as there are extraordinary arms or holy arms under the command, it is easier to collect 10,000 honor points than drinking water to capture 20 boneyards. At that time, everyone will be a top lord. Lin Yu always felt that it was unlikely, but he couldn't figure it out. So he contacted Floating Island of 10,000 Worlds again and asked for relevant information. Soon, the 1G Floating Island replied, "The honor exchange menu is refreshed every 15 days. Each time it is refreshed, the honor value consumed by the exchanged items will increase by different multiples." Damn. I knew it. Refreshed every half a month. Each time it is refreshed, the price of the exchanged items doubles. This is forcing the Lord professionals to desperately improve their strength, and they have to keep fighting with the local forces. If they slow down, the Lords will be isolated from the good things in the honor item menu. It is even more impossible to exchange artifacts and top-level military building blueprints. Even if it is me, I have to speed up to capture the local strongholds, otherwise, it will be difficult for me to exchange the curse of the Lich King. Lin Yu's mouth twitched slightly. Sure enough, the Mother of Rules will not be so generous. On the other side, above the jungle, the mighty angel army, flying towards the two-headed demon tribe. Flying in front of the legion are the six-winged angel Angelia, the six-winged angel of power Renee, the six-winged angel of energy Elena, and the six-winged angel of power Pamela. Not far away, there is a huge blood-colored figure. The blood-colored light emanating from the body seems to distort the void. As a fallen angel loyal to the Supreme Creator, Gladys will not miss any war. Although she does not like to contact angels of the Orthodox faction. Especially Angelia. Chapter 122. The three pairs of black wings behind Gladys trembled slightly. In the midst of the blood light, her huge figure instantly swept over the jungle and flew to the distant sky. Compared with the mighty holy angel army behind her, Gladys's back looked a little lonely. But Gladys didn't care much about this. In hell, these fallen angels were already accustomed to loneliness and despair. Now that she was reborn, she would only feel happy. Although she was alone, the Supreme Creator protected her, and those holy angels didn't dare to do anything to her. And she believed that soon more fallen angels would come to this world at the call of the Lord. By that time, she would no longer be alone. She only needed to recover her strength and wait quietly, looking at Gladys's back as she walked away. Many angels in the back breathed a sigh of relief. No holy angel was willing to get close to the fallen angels, because they were all worried about being contaminated by the power of hell on the fallen angels and falling together. If it weren't for the order from the Lord of Holy Light, they might have already besieged the fallen angel Gladys. In the Lord's domain, the fallen angels are the mortal enemies of the holy angels. Whenever a fallen angel appears, he will be immediately exiled to hell. This is the order of several 18-winged archangels. Pamela, Angelica cast her eyes on the six-winged angel Pamela and asked, "What is the current situation in the Lord's domain?" Facing this elegant figure in front of her, the six-winged angel Pamela lowered her head slightly and said, "A great force broke through the seal of hell, causing a large number of fallen angels and giant monsters to escape from hell. Originally, we were going to follow the orders of several archangels and expel those fallen angels and giant monsters back to hell, but the will of the Lord of Holy Light suddenly descended on the domain of God. We cannot disobey several archangels. The archangel could only let the fallen continue to pour out of hell. The power of evil is reviving in the divine realm, but overall it is still calm, and no war has broken out." Hearing this, the six-winged angel Renee said coldly, "Those fallen should be thankful that they have been favored by our Lord, otherwise hell will be their burial place." The six-winged angel Pamela sighed and said, "Our Lord is as merciful as before, even when facing those fallen angels. He has not abandoned his compassion in his heart." Angelia's cold eyes swept over. The six-winged angel Pamela was so scared that she lowered her head and dared not say anything more. Angelica said indifferently, "My Lord's will is always correct, and the battlefield of the 10,000 worlds is no longer the land of the gods tens of millions of years ago. It is undeniable that the fighting power of those fallen ones is indeed very strong. With them, it will be easier for our angels to conquer the battlefield of the 10,000 worlds. Don't worry about them. My Lord is the Lord of Holy Light, the Creator of holiness and light. Those who can receive the highest blessing and favor of my Lord will always be our holy angels." Praise the Holy Lord, a group of 6 winged angels whispered in unison, with respectful eyes. Let's go, speed up, conquer this floating island as soon as possible and go to the battlefield of the 10,000 worlds. Angelica looked up at an unknown void and said, only there can we help the Lord of Holy Light restore the power of the Creator faster and finally welcome my Lord back to the Lord's domain. Understood, the angels nodded respectfully. One after another beautiful and delicate cheeks, all revealing the color of longing. Welcoming the Lord back to the divine realm is their ultimate goal. As for conquering the universe and reviving the glory of the angels, comparatively speaking, they are secondary. And they believe that as long as the Lord of Holy Light returns to the Lord's divine realm, these small goals can be easily achieved. More than 20 kilometers away, there stands a mountain about 400 meters high. The trees on the mountain have been cut down and turned into layers of wooden buildings. At the foot of the mountain, there is a wall made of huge stones. It is more than 30 meters high. The thickness is also more than 5 meters. If you look closely, you will find that the surface of the wall actually emits a faint glow. That is the light of elemental magic. This means that some kind of magic material was added when the city wall was built. This can greatly enhance the defensive power of the city wall, including resistance to elemental magic. This is the Eden tribe, the strongest local force within a radius of dozens of kilometers. Compared with the powerful Eden tribe, the Goblin tribe, and Greyland Dwarf tribe, that have been dealt with by Lin Yu are younger brothers. The overall strength of its tribe is enough to be compared with a boneyard. It is the absolute overlord of this jungle. In the past, the Goblin tribe, the Greyland Dwarf tribe, and the nearby small tribes had to pay tribute to the Eden tribe for resources to survive in order to ensure safety. Unfortunately, today is not a lucky day for the Eden tribe. On the top of the mountain, there is a huge stone palace. This is imitating the palace of the Giant Kingdom that guards the western area of the Dark Forest. The Eden tribe believes that they are descendants of the Giant tribe. They have the blood of giants and even titans in their bodies. In addition, like the giants, they also believe in titans. If Lin Yu had chosen titans as his exclusive army, then there might not be any need to start a war, and the two-headed demons here would have surrendered obediently. Of course, angels are not bad either. And in terms of faith, angels do even better. Facing angels, local forces such as the Church of Light will also raise the white flag, and even directly hand over faith to Lin Yu. It's just that Lin Yu's landing place did not appear in the local human area. This is the Dark Forest. It is the territory of giants, natural elves, the King of Bones, and Naga. The power of local humans has not yet extended in. At this moment, a group of strong men from the two-headed demon tribe gathered in the giant stone palace. There are a total of 17. The weakest are all in the late 9th level. Among them, there are even 2 king-level strong men. A burly man, more than 3 meters tall, wearing heavy armor, with 2 heads, one big and one small, sitting on the throne at the top of the palace like a god of war. Another king-level 2-headed demon, who looked a little old. The weapon in his hand was not the standard mace of the two-headed demon, but a dead wood staff. He was the only wizard in the two-headed demon tribe. He mastered the power of totems. Wizards are different from elementalists. They are good at encouragement and legion warfare, and are a relatively rare profession. Sometimes, wizards can also predict the future. For example, now, Chief, I suddenly have an ominous premonition. It seems that a disaster is about to come. The 2 heads of the two-headed demon wizard, one said a word. The two-headed demon leader sitting on the throne said in a buzzing voice, Borg, is this why you summoned all the tribe leaders? An ominous premonition. Yes, Chief, the two-headed demon wizard nodded and said, this feeling is very clear. I firmly believe that something bad will happen. Please prepare early, Chief. Hearing this, the two-headed demon leader frowned. Borg is the smartest two-headed demon in the tribe. Although he will be nervous from time to time, he can't help but believe it. At this time, a two-headed demon warrior suddenly rushed into the giant stone palace, slid to his knees with a plop, and said anxiously, Chief, something bad is going to happen. An enemy is trying to invade our tribe. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123. After hearing this, The two-headed demon leader immediately looked at the Borg wizard. This old wizard's predictions have always been bad, not good. Now it has come true. The two-headed demon leader immediately asked, "How many enemies are there?" The two-headed demon warrior hurriedly said, "Only one has been found for the time being." One? The two-headed demon leader was stunned, and then angrily said, "My tribe swept through the jungle of dozens of kilometers. Why are you so panicked by just one enemy?" In his opinion, the so-called enemy couldn't even do anything to the walls of his tribe. The two-headed demon warrior said in panic, "Chief, the enemy's aura is very terrifying, reaching the king level. And she has 3 pairs of black wings, and she flew over the city wall in a blink of an eye and entered the heart of our tribe. Now, she is heading straight for your palace. Damn it. Why didn't you say it earlier?" The two-headed demon chief was angry and grabbed the 2-meter-long mace beside him. Just when he was about to lead a group of two-headed demon warriors to rush out of the giant stone palace to meet the enemy, a blood-red sword light of dozens of meters suddenly slashed towards the giant stone palace. There was a loud bang. The giant stone palace was directly split in half. The rubble flew and the palace collapsed. In the blink of an eye, it became a ruin. The two-headed demon chief and others were also buried under countless rubble. It was not until a long time later that they crawled out of the ruins, and they were all covered in dust. There were also 3 fewer people. One was a two-headed demon warrior, who was unlucky and was crushed to death by the collapsed palace ruins. The other 2 were two-headed demons in the late 9th level, and were sent away by the blood-colored sword light. Damn it, who dares to be so rampant? The two-headed demon leader was furious and roared continuously. He searched around and soon locked onto a figure. At that moment, his pupils shrank suddenly. The smallest had also opened its mouth wide, in a state of extreme shock, because the enemy's body was too large. Originally, their two-headed demon clan was not small in size, with an average height of about 3 meters. Compared with the short goblins and great dwarves, they can be called giants. However, in front of this figure, the body size that the two-headed demon clan is proud of is not at all advantageous. After comparing with the two-headed demon leader, he found that his huge body of 3.5 meters was not as long as the legs of the figure. In front of her, he was like a pocket dwarf. Is she also a giant? Impossible. How can a giant have wings? The most important thing is that she exudes an extremely evil aura, and is obviously a creature belonging to the evil camp. And the giant is a race of the chaotic neutral camp. The two-headed demon leader suddenly felt that his 2 brains were a little confused. The aura around him gradually became violent. Having 2 heads is the advantage and disadvantage of the two-headed demon clan. The advantage is that the chaotic thoughts make it easy for them to enter a violent state and achieve a surge in combat power. The disadvantage is that the IQ plummets. Especially when they are in a chaotic state, they have no brains. Damn invader, no matter who you are, if you dare to destroy my palace, you must die, the two-headed demon leader roared angrily. And then waved the mace in his hand wildly, releasing a series of storm tornadoes that swept towards the blood-colored figure in the sky. In those storm tornadoes, lightning flashed. Descendant of Titan, unfortunately, the bloodline is too thin. The fallen angel Gladys shook the 3 pairs of black wings behind her, and a bloody light was swayed. As the bloody light swept across, the storm tornadoes that swept in suddenly disappeared. Then, holding the bloody sword, she slashed at the two-headed demon leader from a distance of 100 meters. In an instant, countless dark red sword lights burst out. The dense sword light was not only powerful, but also as fast as lightning, stabbing directly at the two-headed demon leader and the two-headed demon warriors near him. This is the combat skill of the 6-winged fallen angel, the dark sword. Be careful, suddenly a two-headed demon warrior screamed in horror, while waving the weapon in his hand, while releasing magic power, condensing into a shield, trying to resist that some dark red sword lights. Other two-headed demon warriors also reacted and released combat skills one after another, trying to withstand this wave of sword rain. Because the speed of the sword rain was too fast and the range was very large, they had no time to escape. They could only take emergency defensive measures. Ancestor's blessing. At this time, the Borg wizard also took action. He raised the dry stick in his hands with both hands, and then slammed it on the ground. In an instant, a strong magic light emerged from the dry stick, and spread around at an extremely fast speed, and then rose to the air. Finally, it condensed into a huge protective shield, covering all the nearby two-headed demon warriors. This is the totem magic of the two-headed demon wizard. It is also the defensive magic of the Borg wizard. Although the enemy is also a king-level professional, the aura emanating from his body is too terrible, giving him the feeling of a strong man in the extraordinary realm. He must do his best to resist the opponent's attack. At the same time, the dark sword rain released by the fallen angel Gladys had already attacked. And all of them hit the protective shield. There was a dense ding-ding sound, like the sound of metal clashing. Then, there was a bang. The protective shield magic that the Borg wizard had kept in his bottom box only lasted for less than a second before it cracked and collapsed, and the remaining sword rain continued to stab the two-headed demons. Puff puff puff. Accompanied by the spurting blood. One after another, the two-headed demons were pierced by dark swords. The weapons they wielded, the magic shields around them, and even the armor they wore, could not withstand the terrible power of the dark sword. More than a dozen two-headed demons in the late stage of level 9. All of them were pierced into sieves. They were killed instantly before they even had time to scream. There were screams from the side, from the Borg wizard and the two-headed demon patriarch. The former was pierced by multiple dark swords. The latter was the most miserable, with one of his two heads cut off. The blinding blood gushed out from the broken neck. The severe pain almost made the two-headed demon leader faint. Both were king-level professionals. His level had even reached a late king level. However, he could not even withstand the opponent's attack and was directly seriously injured. This made him feel unbelievable. "Who are you?" The only remaining head of the two-headed demon leader looked at the bloody figure standing in the air with horror. "My two-headed demon tribe has never offended you. Why are you doing this? Weak creatures don't need to worry about why they died. This is your fate." The fallen angel Gladys walked slowly with a blood-red sword in her hand. Every step she took, the void under her feet would vibrate. At the same time, it was like stepping on the heart of the two-headed demon leader, making him more and more afraid. At this moment, he seemed to think of something and said in horror, "You are not a local creature, you are a soldier under the command of the Lord of another world." It seems that because there is no other HUD to drag, the brain of the two-headed demon leader has become much smarter. Chapter 124. The two of them were so angry that they had to face each other. "Lord of another world," fallen angel Gladys sneered without comment. Dozens of meters away, the Borg wizard of the two-headed demon tribe was still screaming. He was already old, and his physical fitness was far inferior to that of the two-headed demon leader who was in his prime. Now that he was pierced by multiple dark swords, the severe pain made him unbearable. The Borg wizard struggled to get up many times. But he failed because he was seriously injured. In the end, he could only lie on the ground and wail in pain. "Noisy," fallen angel Gladys frowned. A flash of sword light slashed over casually, cutting the Borg wizard in half on the spot, and the wailing sound disappeared. At the same time, the bodies of the Borg wizard and those two-headed demons also shrank quickly. Their blood and souls were all devoured by the blood-colored sword in Gladys's hand. A strong breath emanated from Gladys' body. She was promoted. The level was promoted from the early king level to the middle king level. And it was not far from the promotion to the late king level. The fallen angel Gladys was very sure that as long as she killed the two-headed demon leader in front of her, she could step into the late king level and look forward to the extraordinary realm. On the other side, the two-headed demon leader was shocked. This humanoid black-winged creature that came out of nowhere not only killed his tribal leaders, but also devoured their corpses. Even the souls were not spared. It was simply evil to the extreme. Just when Gladys turned her gaze to the two-headed demon leader, he thought for a second with his remaining head, then immediately raised his hands and shouted, "Don't kill me, I surrender." The two-headed demon who believes in Titan is honored to die on the battlefield. He will never bow his head to the enemy easily. However, the two-headed demon leader felt that he only had one head left and could not be considered a proper two-headed demon. Surrendering to save his life was the best choice. After losing a head, your soul has become much clearer. Unfortunately, it is still incomplete. The fallen angel Gladys came with a sword and said to the two-headed demon leader, "Living creatures with incomplete souls like you are not qualified to be believers of my lord. What do you want to do?" The two-headed demon leader held a 2-meter-long mace in one hand. He retreated in fear. He said in horror, "The jungle area of thousands of kilometers is all the territory of the giant kingdom, and my two-headed demon tribe is also loyal to the giant kingdom. If you dare to kill me, His Majesty the King will not let you go." The fallen angel Gladys did not speak. Her beautiful face was cold and ruthless, and she slashed at the two-headed demon leader with a sword. The two-headed demon leader quickly raised the mace in his hand to resist, but was split into two halves by the fallen angel Gladys. Because the blood-colored sword was too sharp. Even after the two-headed demon leader's body was cut open by a knife, his head and body were not separated immediately. Looking at the two-headed demon leader with an unbelievable face, Gladys whispered indifferently, "I have killed titans, let alone a mere giant force in a low plane." Hearing this, the two-headed demon leader's eyes widened instantly. He opened his mouth, as if he wanted to say something. But in the end, he fell down without saying anything. The moment he fell to the ground, his body and the mace in his hand also split into two halves. The blinding blood and broken internal organs were scattered all over the ground. It looked extremely bloody. The fallen angel Gladys did not despise it, and used the blood-colored sword in her hand to suck the body of the two-headed demon leader into a mummy, and simultaneously devoured the power contained in his blood and soul. At the same time, the source energy reward from the floating island of 10,000 worlds also arrived. The two-headed demon leader is a late king-level professional. The killing reward is naturally extremely generous. Just now, Gladys was close to being promoted to the late king level. Now that she has received the source energy reward from the floating island, plus the gains from devouring, her level has suddenly increased again. She has stepped into the late king level. If she can go one step further, she will be an extraordinary profession. However, there was no joy on Gladys's face. The expression on her beautiful face was as calm as when Angelica evolved into a six-winged angel. Then, she picked up the items that exploded after killing the two-headed demons, and prepared to continue to slaughter more two-headed demons. At this moment a large number of two-headed demons are rushing to the top of the mountain. Among them are high-level two-headed demons of level 8 and level 9. But in Gladys's eyes, these two-headed demons are just nutrients for her to restore her strength. At this moment, in the distant sky, the sacred light roared like waves. In the light, there are dense angels. The total number exceeds 1,800. Among them, a figure rushed over, like a holy sword falling on the top of the mountain. "You are very fast." The six-winged angel Renee glanced at the mummies lying on the ground. These mummies were not weak in their lifetime. They were all top masters of the two-headed demon tribe. After killing them, Gladys gained a lot. No wonder she was able to rise 2 small realms in a row. "It is an honor for us fallen angels to serve the Supreme Creator," Gladys replied expressionlessly. She stood in the center of a pile of corpses. Holding the bloody sword, she looked like a blood-armored female war god. Because of her huge size, she almost looked down at the six-winged angel Renee. This look made Renee a little dissatisfied. As angels of the same six-wing level, who is worse than who? "You have already gained a lot. Leave the remaining two-headed demons to our angel army." The six-winged angel Renee paused for a moment, and then explained, "There are many angels in my angel army that were summoned by the Holy Lord these 2 days. They are not of sufficient level, so we need to borrow the heads of those two-headed demons." "I know," the fallen angel Gladys nodded. She did not refuse, mainly because of Renee's explanation later. In the past, when the holy angels and the fallen angels met, they would have gone to war directly, and there would be no such calm conversation as now. Gladys was also willing to maintain peace with the holy angels. Of course, it was just to maintain peace. Without any extra communication, the 3 pairs of black wings behind the fallen angel Gladys shook lightly, and then turned into a huge blood shadow and disappeared in the distant sky. Renee glanced at the mummies on the ground again. The fighting power of the fallen angel is indeed strong. Even when facing a higher-level enemy, it can be killed in one sword. No wonder some angels are willing to fall. War, in an instant, descended on the entire two-headed demon tribe. A full 37 angel teams, like tigers and sheep, slaughtered the two-headed demons in the tribe crazily. The number ratio of the two sides is about 1,800 to 13,000. About a 7-fold difference. However, it was the angel army that had an absolute advantage. No two-headed demon in the tribe was a match for the angels. Even those high-level two-headed demons were easily killed by the angels. In this tribal war, the 6-winged angel Elena and the 4-winged dark angels in the angel army did not use the magic of faith, because the two-headed demon race is a bit strange. One soul, split into 2 incomplete souls, possessing different consciousnesses, and always in a state of confusion. In this case, even the holy light cannot influence them. Unless the incomplete souls of the two-headed demons are pieced together with powerful divine power and restored to complete soul, so as to spread faith and make them absolutely loyal to the Lord of Holy Light. But the cost of doing so is too high. The effort and the reward are not proportional. Therefore, the best way is to completely purify these two-headed demons and put an end to it. Thousands of meters high, two slender and beautiful figures stand. It was the six-winged angel Angela and the six-winged angel Elena. They did not participate in the war below, because for them now, killing those weak two-headed demons was not enough to help them upgrade their levels. Only the six-winged angel Pamela participated in the war. Her level was late level 9, and after killing a large number of high-level two-headed demons, there was still hope of being promoted to the king level. At this time, Angela suddenly stretched out her slender right hand, gently pinched in the void. Suddenly, the space in her palm was distorted. After a moment, a translucent ball of light appeared. "This is..." The six-winged angel Elena looked puzzled. Angela said, "Just now, my lord asked me if there was a way to collect souls to feed the immortal flower. This attributeless the soul ball can help my lord." After saying that, she threw down the soul ball in her hand, controlled it to slowly hover over the battlefield. Whenever it appeared in an area, the souls of the two-headed demons that died in that area would involuntarily leave their bodies and be absorbed by the soul ball. Elena said hesitantly, "The growth potential of the immortal flower is too low. It is only at the peak of the saint level, and it is not worth my lord's energy to cultivate it." Angelia said calmly, "As long as my lord likes it, he can do anything he wants." Elena nodded. Suddenly, she was surprised. She felt that Angelia was referring to something. Chapter 125. The killing continued. Throughout the hundreds of meters high mountain and the layers of buildings, the roars, snarls, and screams of the two-headed demons could be heard everywhere. Many high-level two-headed demons gathered together and tried to fight the angel army head-on, but they were killed again and again. Apart from leaving corpses all over the ground, they did not get any benefits. Facing the enemy, angels never show mercy. Especially for enemies like the two-headed demons who are not even qualified to be purified, there is no need to give them mercy and compassion. One after another, beautiful and holy angels turned into killing gods on the battlefield, reaping the lives of the two-headed demons ruthlessly. The angel swords in their hands had long been stained with blood, but the armor on their bodies and the snow-white angel wings behind them were not stained with blood. All the blood and filth that splashed were purified by the holy light emanating from them. Just like the legendary creatures of the divine world, not stained with a single speck of dust. At the foot of the mountain, more than 100 high-level two-headed demons gathered a large number of tribal warriors and elites, trying to break out. However, the city wall of their tribe was more than 30 meters high, more than 5 meters thick, and resistant to elemental magic. They had no way to destroy the city wall and escape. As for the gate, it had long been locked. The city wall gate of the two-headed demon tribe is an iron gate weighing more than 100,000 pounds. It opens at sunrise and closes at sunset every day. Each time it was opened, it needed the gallows and iron chains made of fine iron, and it also required more than a dozen two-headed demon warriors to turn the gallows together to open the heavy city wall gate. Now, the iron chain has been cut. The gallows was also destroyed. This directly led to the city wall gate being closed tightly. Even a king-level powerhouse would find it difficult to break the door violently. Not to mention that the most powerful two-headed demon among them was only in the middle stage of level 9. It was impossible to break through the door and escape. This also made the two-headed demons who intended to break through very desperate. Originally, the city wall and the fine iron gate were barriers to protect their tribe. As a result, now, they have become accomplices in burying their tribe, and they have been caught in a jar by the enemy. Where can I go to make sense of this? If I had known earlier, I would not have built the city wall and the city gates so strong. However, this is not the fault of the two-headed demon patriarch and the tribe's high-level people. After all, they did not expect the enemy to fly. Generally speaking, professionals can only fly after they have reached the extraordinary realm. Who would have thought that all the invaders of their tribe this time were angels with wings? In front of the angels, not to mention the city wall of more than 30 meters. Even if it was 3,000 meters high, it would still be useless. Moreover, the angels flew too fast, not giving the two-headed demon tribe any time to react. They all descended on the city wall, destroyed all the giant crossbows on the city wall, and closed the city gate. This resulted in none of the two-headed demons being able to escape. However, there were still many high-level two-headed demons who were unwilling to give up. They tried to climb over the city wall and escape. There were two-headed demons at level 9 who even jumped dozens of meters. They saw that they could leap over the city wall and escape, but they were directly cut back by a series of dazzling sword lights. And before they landed smoothly, another sword light chased them. They were cut into pieces. After several waves of charge, the high-level two-headed demons near the city wall were killed. And the remaining weak two-headed demons, seeing no hope of escape, actually went into a violent state and killed the nearby angels. There were a large number of two-headed demons in each area, trying to fight desperately with the angel army. Weak creatures, why are you always unwilling to accept your fate? A beautiful figure wearing a crown suddenly appeared in the sky. It was the six-winged angel Pamela. She looked down at the hundreds of two-headed demons gathered below with indifferent eyes, and said, "For you heretics with broken souls, death is salvation." The Lord said, "The divine light shines on the earth, the power of darkness and evil will be punished." Accompanied by the cold voice of the six-winged angel Pamela, endless light gathered at a height of thousands of meters, and then condensed into golden holy swords, falling straight down. Densely packed the holy sword, like a rain of light, smashed into the camp of the two-headed demons. In an instant, the hundreds of two-headed demons, regardless of their level or strength, were all pierced by the holy sword. Holy light rain. The most powerful range attack magic of the six-winged angel. That is because Pamela's current level is too low. If she has an extraordinary level, this holy light rain magic can directly cover the entire two-headed demon tribe and kill all the two-headed demons in the tribe in seconds. But even so, Pamela's gains are already very great. Killing hundreds of two-headed demons brought her unimaginable rich source energy rewards. She had killed a group of high-level two-headed demons before. Now she killed hundreds more instantly. The level directly took off. Sure enough, a golden light was seen covering Pamela's body. In just a short moment, the magic fluctuations emanating from her body increased several times. Her level also instantly broke through the late 9th level. She became a king-level professional. On the other side of the battlefield, the same golden light enveloped the six-winged angel Renee. She killed a large number of two-headed demons and was promoted to the king level. So far, Lin Yu has 5 king-level angels under his command. And they are all six-winged angels. In addition, the first 2 winged angels summoned, such as Yuta, Sally, Qiaozai, and Vina, have also entered the late 9th level, and are only one step away from being promoted to the king level. In addition to them, the levels of other angels in the Legion have also increased dramatically. It must be said that the Angel Legion has gained a lot from the attack on the two-headed demon tribe this time. After less than 2 hours of war and the elimination of the remnants, more than 13,000 two-headed demons in the tribe have all realized the fate of death is salvation in the mouth of the six-winged angel Pamela. Next is the time to clean up the battlefield. Angelica appeared in the resource warehouse of the two-headed demon tribe. On her slender waist, there was a black and gold belt. It was the Skeleton King's belt, with space storage ability. Although Lin Yu liked it very much, he did not wear it himself, but gave it to Angelica, asking her to use it to store spoils. Angelica waved her right hand gently. The vast amount of food, wood, iron ore and other resources stored in the warehouse disappeared in large pieces. After the battlefield was cleaned up, Angelica collected all kinds of spoils and put them all into the belt. "Pamela, my lord has ordered that the two-headed demon tribe has no value to exist." Angelica summoned the six-winged angel Pamela and said, "You lead a team of angels to the top of the mountain and destroy the meeting hall of the two-headed demon tribe?" "Okay," Pamela nodded. Then he rushed into the sky with a group of angels. After a short moment, the buildings of the two-headed demon tribe collapsed, including the seemingly indestructible wall at the foot of the mountain, which also collapsed instantly and turned into a huge stone ruin. At the same time, a large number of blueprints in a golden stronghold treasure chest fell out. As usual, Angelica put it in her belt. After doing all this, she and other six-winged angels led the mighty angel army away. I don't know how long it took. A huge blood shadow suddenly appeared above the two-headed demon tribe. So many corpses, can't be wasted. The blood shadow was the six-winged fallen angel Gladys. She raised the blood-colored sword in her hand and released pieces of blood-red light, covering the ruins of the entire two-headed demon tribe. Soon, countless streams of blood emerged from the ruins, gathering towards her like dense blood snakes, and were finally swallowed up by the blood-colored sword. At this moment, Gladys's cold expression finally revealed her a hint of satisfaction. A blush also appeared on her beautiful and delicate cheeks. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.